out his sneaker line, they're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics. And Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
Question for you on that point, though.
Yeah.
Will the people that are excited about the sneakers and excited about Donald Trump, will that translate into them going out and voting?
Even the sneaker thing.
That was a stupid
Got a
statement.
point.
That's a valid. See, I told you it's a valid point now. Why is it a valid point? Please explain about the golden tickets. Because that's the name of the sneakers. They call it the golden ticket.
No, I mean,
Oh my God! Hold up! Look, hold on. Before you go. So the name of the shoes are the golden ticket, right?
Yes,
bro. That's masterful. That's masterful. When you hear golden ticket, what brings you back to your childhood? What brings you back to the childhood in the 90s? Motherfucking Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Because I got a golden ticket. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I have a golden ticket and I'll be sway. I got a golden ticket. It's a brand new day. Man, motherfucking Willy Wonka, nigga.
yes. Ah, man. But now, should we feel disrespected, Otis, that this is what they saying on Fox News about us, that we are now interested in Donald Trump and running away from Biden because of the sneaker, and now it's on a deeper level, it's deeper than politics. It's about the culture.
Unfortunately, it's going to probably piss some people off.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, the statement that she made, unfortunately, now I'm going to say the majority. It might be the majority. I hate to even say it. It's true.
Damn.
It's true. That he's going to garner and gain more followers because of the cultural of the shoes. It's sad to say, but it's true. I don't like it, but it's true. But it's no different than the most of our people. I hate to bring race into it, but it's no different than when you ask our people the reason why they vote Democrat. They only do it because their parents before them was voted Democrat. They have no other agenda, no other rhyme or reason for doing it. They have no idea, even though they know that we were the ones that started voting Republican. We were Republican at first. A lot of people don't know
I do hear that argument a lot, that we was Republican first, right? But isn't it possible that the Republican Party changed their ideology over the years, and then that's why we ran away from the Republican Party in the first place? Because of policy and not necessarily because of tradition?
Yeah, it's possible, but they both do it. It's like the lesser of two evils. I hate to, it's just politics, man. It's cultural. Put it like this. The Democrats had a hold on our culture for years, right? Democratic. Yeah. When you think Democrat, what the first thing you think? African Americans, for some strange reason. We want benefits. I hate to say it, but we want benefits as a whole. We want to be treated as everyone else. So in our mind, on the way to get that is we have to go get the government's programs, the food stamps, the whatever, all that good stuff. Whatever it is, we be the first one standing in line. Unfortunately, it's the truth. Now you tie all that in with the entertainers and whatnot. Unfortunately, the majority of our entertainers within our culture are Democrats. Think about it. They really are. So you tie all that in, the Democrats have a lock on our culture. Now that the Republicans are trying to come in and steal some of that shine, now it's a problem. That's what I don't like, but it's tit for tat. It is what it is. It's picking the lesser of two evils to me.
In Instagram.
You want me to pull that? You want me to pull that up for you?
Yeah.
What?
Pull it up.
Why you want to see these people looking like Kunta Kinte?
Nah, pull it up, bro. Pull it up.
Damn it. While I'm pulling this up, give me your thoughts on it first.
So you have to understand that Trump made a pair of shoes, right? He just made a pair of shoes and called it the golden ticket. He wanted a pair of shoes, and people are associating the pair of shoes with the blacks. I get it, right? But it's a pair of shoes. It's marketing. He called it the golden ticket. It's marketing, right? Stole a pair of shoes. He probably needs money. He probably needs money to fundraise. So he gave back to the people for their fundraise money. But could you please pull up what I sent you? Please pull it up.
It's an extra link. It's not through actual.
Because this is a pivotal point. This is a pivotal
Okay.
point. But but this is a pivotal message. Congressional Democrats criticized for wearing kente cloth at event honoring George Floyd.
Damn.
This is what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. See, unlike Trump, who is making a pair of shoes on his own time, on his own dime.
That's a good point.
That's a quick rhyme. You had actually these congressional leaders actually walk into the hall wearing kente cloths because they thought that they mattered so much. The blacks mattered so much.
That part.
This dead man's in the streets. We must call to action. And how better to get in touch with the blacks of America to show that they are heard by wearing African attire.
There you go.
Which has no representation to a significant extent on the blacks in America that vote for you.
Say that. Oh, I like him.
Okay, Granville.
I like that.
He's not always trolling.
Where's the outrage, Sharon?
He's not always trolling.
Where is the outrage, Sharon?
Great point. Come on, Sharon. Come on, Sharon. Let's get him. Come on, Sharon.
And if you remember at this time, of the George Floyd incident, we were in the voting season. This is 2020, ladies and gentlemen. 2020. We're in voting swings. We need seats. And then they get up there and they put a dead black man as representation of the strife of the blacks in America to buy your fucking vote. And
Democrats are perfect at that. They great at that.
Kente cloths. They dressed up in that shit. And when you saw that, your heart waned a little bit because at the emotions at the time, this man had just been choked out in the street and they saw the strings to play on your heart to gain that vote because they had a ruthless criminal they were painting. They were painting him a criminal, a vagabond, a vagrant. And look at them now. What have they done for you in the last 4 years, may I ask? Thank you very much. Thank you for...
Great mic drop. I'll give you that one. It goes both ways, Sharon. It goes both ways. Come on, Sharon. Come on. I give you time to gather your thoughts. Come on, sir.
Hey, I can't sometimes, you can't fight the truth sometimes. Hey. You gotta let the truth just simmer sometimes. You just gotta let it cool down. Shit.
Great points.
Hey, I just don't like the fact that they use like Trump is using the fact that he's indicted and that's why we are thinking that he's relatable. The fact that he made a pair of sneakers and then that's what makes him relatable, and that's why we're gonna vote for him.
But
not because of any policies that he ever gave us, not because of his immigration policies. Not because of any of those things. That's not the reason why black people are voting for him. It's because he's indicted and he made some sneakers and he got baby mothers. That is the problem I have with the way how they are depicting us.
Can I honestly ask you a question, though? Can I honestly ask you a question? You have I understand. I hear what you're saying. I agree with you to a certain degree. My question is, do you honor with two questions? One, I know you honestly know someone. You can honestly reach out and touch a lot of people right now who fall into that category. They're only going to vote for him because of what you just said. I know you know some people. It's unfortunate, but I know you know. Relatives, friends, associates. I can touch a lot of them. I know you can. And it's sad. They don't make it right, but that's what they go for. No different than, again, like I stated earlier, most people vote Democrat because of their family history. They have no other inkling or no rhyme or reason of why they're voting Democrat. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but at least give me, like you said, an intelligent, formable reason of why you are voting Democrat. Nothing wrong with that. I just want to know why. And don't give me because, well, my mama or my grandma have been doing it for years and the Republicans are racist. That's the only thing we as a people, I had to put myself in there, but because I am of the people, they say they vote Democratic because the Republicans are racist. That's the only point. That's the only argument point.
It is wild. That is they only argue for that is wild, and that's why Biden is walked into this black family's house and ate a bowl of chicken. He brought fried
man
chicken.
walking, and he said the most racist statement within the last 10 years.
What did he say?
What did he say? Something I'm paraphrasing. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. What?
That's what the last election. That's what he told Charlemagne the God. He said, "Hey, listen, if you don't vote for Biden, then you ain't black."
Now, what sounds worse? That or people buying these golden ticket shoes? Come on, now. What's worse?
I don't know. Them golden tickets is pretty horrible.
You're talking about golden tickets that are pretty horrible, but you have to understand the pretense of it. Trump is not on America's dime right now doing this. This is him.
That is him. Joe
Biden went and sat in a black house and ate chicken and hot sauce on America's dime.
Say what?
Think about all. Say it one more time.
No, you got to say that again.
Right.
Joe Biden went into a black home and ate chicken and hot sauce on America's dime.
No, the hot sauce was Hillary. Hillary had hot sauce.
Oh, no. Joe Biden ate that hot sauce too. They just didn't show.
No, so Joe Biden. So to be honest with you, Joe Biden, he brought the black family.
He's the begging panda.
A bowl of fried chicken. However, Joe Biden himself, he ate a hamburger, the real American food.
Are you sure? So you mean to tell me?
That really, for me, when I seen that really made it look racist to me. That he had.
So what you telling me? Hold on, this is new information.
About to be a situation.
Shout out to Lucky Marie. She says, Sharon Love, I thank you with the Lucky Charms for the tip jar. I really appreciate that, Lucky. I heard you had a.
Hey, can I address Lucky right quick? I
heard you had a great show, and somebody said I need to get an invitation. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Can I address Lucky pretty please?
Yes, she is very.
Good morning, Lucky. Hey guys, listen. Lucky Marie has a show on Sunday. Normally starts between 8 and 9 Eastern. Last night, if you did not catch it, please go catch the rewind. I was not able to catch it last night because I had a 4 o'clock appointment to meet, and I was a couple of hours away.
Matter of fact, can the moderators please drop Lucky Marie's channel so the people could find it easier?
Could you please drop it? But Lucky and the lovely ladies on that show last night was amazing.
Awesome.
I loved it so much that it was a breath of fresh air on that last 4-hour leg early this morning when I only got about 2 hours of sleep. Watching that show this morning, it was amazing. So I think everybody should go check it out.
I'm going to go check it out.
You got some lovely ladies on there, and then she always has guest male panelists. But last night, it was a truly breath of fresh air for this space, and I really enjoyed it. And I wish I would have caught it.
Shout out to Lucky Marie.
So shout out Lucky and her channel.
Keep on building it. Keep on building them great shows. That is awesome. Shout out to Lucky Marie. And I need somebody with a goddamn wrench to spam her damn channel. And he gonna be mad at me because I don't got his intro yet. But welcome to the show. Nice. The Beast. What they do? Good day.
Top of the day, everybody. Top of the day. Peace.
What's good? I have one more thing to say about so you said about Joe Biden. Joe Biden ate a burger, correct?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me this white Democrat went to these good black folk homes and their food wasn't good enough for him?
No.
He had to choose something else to eat something else.
Yeah,
so you mean to tell me he went and pandered?
What he brought himself his own burger because he wanted to be super American, eat a burger and French fries.
So you mean to tell me
fried chicken, even though fried chicken was made in Kentucky by a white man?
So you mean to tell me that this white man went into these good black folk home and their food wasn't good enough for him? He had to bring his own?
Yes, but he brought it for everybody.
Yeah,
oh my God. That's disrespectful. You didn't even give him a chance. You didn't even give him a try. So you can pander, but there's a line to your pandering. This is what I'm not trying to understand. And like I said that right, this is what I'm not trying to understand. Because what the Democrats do is they'll put the carrot on the stick. Hey, your votes matter. Look at chicken. Look at hot sauce. Look at our kente cloths.
Yes, I was just about to say
Vote
that.
for us because we're the only ones that care.
Yeah.
And then once you vote for them, they forget about you like a fucking gum stain on a fucking street.
That is not true. They
When are
do
y'all
not
people
forget
gonna
about
wake
you.
up?
They do. Shoot.
They don't forget about you. You just got to hold them to the fire. Like, hey, don't forget, re-election is coming up. And if you don't hold tight, me and my voters that voted for you, we are going to vote the opposite way just because. That's how you got to hold them to the fire. If you got a voting block and we got 1,000, say if the mayor of our city, it takes up around 1,000 votes and we got about like 600-700 in our voting block and we get you in there, we can hold you to the fire. We're like, hey, listen, if you don't do what we ask, we don't care who's going against you. We're going to make sure you get voted out. And that's how you do it. But nice to be. So what you think? Are you going to vote for Trump because he got the best sneakers in the market right now? The golden tickets?
Hold on. Before I say anything on that, let me just make sure are my lights bright enough?
Yes, you look good.
Because he said the lights were so bright he could only see black people. I just want to make sure my light is light over here.
Did not hear that. You the second. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. He said that. Okay, it was crazy. He said that. That shit is wild.
So with that being said, I don't think so.
So why do you think us blacks we tend to gravitate to the person that is more gravitating to our culture instead of the gravitating to their policies? So because he's indicted a few times, he seems like a criminal, baby mother, and people would say he's we got somebody on the panel that said he's one of the realest niggas that you could vote for right now.
And I don't disagree with that.
Say that.
I don't disagree with
demographic that fall for that. Yes.
First, let's say this. Big Queens in the building. Shout out to Trump because he's from Queens. He's from Jamaica.
I give you that one. So okay.
But he definitely, and this is my lifetime. In my lifetime, out of all the politicians I've seen, he definitely is the least written. You know what I mean? Like most of the time when we see speeches from politicians, somebody else fully wrote that. None of those words are their own. He's saying nobody wrote this stuff. Most of this stuff,
right?
No,
you can definitely tell when it goes off script. You can definitely tell. Got you.
So if that's your version of being real, that off the cuff, he's absolutely the closest we've had or seen to that in my lifetime. So if that's what you want to vote for, I respect it. I'm not mad at that. If you say no, because even in his hatred, like that's real. So how many politicians did we felt the way Trump feels, but wouldn't talk to us like that, wouldn't let us know that's how they felt, sugarcoated it and pretended something else?
That is a great point. That's why people do like him, for sure.
That's why people like him. So I'm not mad at the people that like him.
He is more of a representation of what America actually talks like. Because most people do not talk with like how these politicians talk. Like, they got some great, like Barack Obama, he is awesome. But most people cannot articulate themselves the way Barack does. Shout out to Kasim. Donald Trump wants to deploy the military inside the U.S. That's scary. Following recent threats to use troops to tamp down violence in cities if re-elected. I'm sure that is going towards all the extra violence that we are encountering.
Chicago trying to do that now.
Yeah, they attempted to do it now because of all the fluctuation of all these new human beings that's in our country, and they don't have to work, and people starting to feel a certain way, and also they want more than what the government is giving them, so they ride around in scooters in New York, robbing people, grabbing your necklaces and purses off your chest. It is scary. Like the ridiculous amount of scooters that invaded New York City since this whole immigration thing happened is wild to me as well. Like the scooters and shit is insane. What's up, LA Project? Royce M. Shout out to you, Shiesty Bum. Given 2 Twin 1. Good to see you here again. Orchard S. You know what I'm saying? So like it is interesting how because that's going to be a big conversation in the voting block is the immigration situation. How they got these safe haven cities and they trying to push them out of Texas and send them to all the blue states.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting.
I don't know. Again, this is why I'm like the black sheep in my family. And I understand. I get it. I don't even fight it anymore. I get it. Because the statements I'm about to make right here. Yes, I understand immigration is an issue. I understand it. I know. But before immigration was an issue, well, it was still an issue around the COVID situations and all that, and then the COVID was lifted. How many cities, the city you're in right now, how many restaurants before the immigrants came to that city, how many restaurants were closed at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon because they didn't have any workers? How many businesses they had to close because they had what they call shadow staff or ghost staff because they didn't have enough employees to go in and furnish their store to serve the public? Now, all of a sudden, we have an influx of so-called immigrants that want to come here and work, to go work at the Subway or the Chick-fil-A or whatever restaurant where there were a lack of workers. Now, all of a sudden, we have workers here. You upset now. That's what pissed me off. Here in St. Louis, I can speak for St. Louis. There are a lot of businesses that are under served because they don't have enough staff. A lot. Your regular restaurants. But we got the nerve, so a mitigated goal, to complain about immigrants want to come and want to take your so-called job. What job? You're not working. That's where I stand at. That's where I stand. Now,
I think that argument. I think that argument sounds good. It sounds really good. It really does. However, the problem with the argument is that if they would have went back to work at that time, they would have lost money.
I'm talking about now.
So now people got to figure things out. They trying to do things and they trying to figure out. And most people they don't want to go back into an office. They like, no, fuck that. I can make more money from home because they already put the bug in our ear that we can make more money from home. Even when they was just giving money, it was giving an extra $600-$700 to people and all that. People was like, so that incentivized people not to go to work. And so now people are trying to find new ways to not go inside an office, work from home, like how we are all doing right now. And they want to figure out a way to get that money from home. People don't want to go back and work inside and be outside with people where they could cough or they touch something. Now you caught some shit too. Now you turn fucking green.
I think that's a specific demographic, Sharon. I hear you, and I don't think that's really relevant as of right now. You had a point, say, a year ago. I really agree with that, but as of now, the COVID numbers have quote unquote subsided, or they stopped talking about it. I'm not going to get into that COVID stuff. They just stopped talking about it. I just say that. They stopped talking about it. They don't say the numbers are up as high as whatnot. But all I know, if you watch my news in St. Louis, I'm pretty sure it's across this way, across the board, across the country, employment is down. I know there are businesses, there are a lack of employees because they're not coming in. That's a fact. I don't know what the reason is, but the fact is companies are understaffed. Now you have these immigrants in the cities, they want to work. They at the Home Depots, they got their backpack, they running up to the cars, they want to work.
So before nights go, before nights go, but they are the problem, and they are killing actually the job market. Because now since they are going to flood the job market, now they could raise the rates even lower because those people ain't going to care because they getting pennies over there. So even if they was getting $2 over here, that was a huge pay hike. So now you businesses that's making $10 billion as a Sephora, you know what they did? They just made $10 billion and they gave their staff a cookie. Literally a cookie. So that's the issue. So now people's like, nah, you're going to have to pay like you fucking way. We know y'all making money. If I don't come in your store, you ain't making money. So y'all going to have to start trickling that money down and stop being so stubborn and say, oh, you only getting paid for the hours that you work. No, it needs to be a bigger picture. All this shit that it only goes to the CEO that barely even do 40 hours a week, that shit is done. And so now when they bring all these other people in, now that fucks up the whole market. So it's not that the people don't want to work, it's that they want to get paid for what they are actually worth now. People are smartening up. And that's why these young kids is like, fuck that, I'm not going into work. The same amount of money you giving me, I can make from home. I could make $500 for home. So while I'm going to go into yours, it takes me an hour to get there, hour to get back. I got to buy lunch. I got to do this. It's not worth it to these young people anymore. They're getting smarter. That is the real issue. And that's why they got to bring in people that's a little bit, sad to say, they're not as smart. They don't know the game. Go ahead, Nice.
I don't even need to talk no more. You said everything that I was going to say.
Damn.
It's really that. It's really about the self-worth. We understand more of our self-worth, so we're not gonna do what you asking us to do for pennies. Like, we understand. And a lot of us got sent home, and guess what we found out? We found out we wasn't essential. You heard?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had to figure out other ways to develop income. We found out we wasn't essential. So I'm with S on this. Like, it's about, yo, and it's funny. I'm watching a series on Netflix right now, Warrior, and it's about when the immigrants from China was coming over into San Francisco, and that's what was happening over there. Like, all the white guys was getting put out of work because the Chinese guys was coming over and doing the labor for cheaper.
Yes.
So it's really about self-worth. And we're seeing that across the board, even in entertainment. Like, how you can look at basketball or professional sports and see we started to realize our worth. We started to say, nah, listen, we understand we're the reason y'all making billions and billions of dollars. You got to pay us how we weigh. But guess what? They figured out we could go get this player from overseas who don't have that sense of self-entitlement and who just still happy to be here. We not just happy to be here no more. We understand that we created this infrastructure. We ain't just happy to be here.
Right. And you know, and like it's more than just us having comfortability and leisure. It's that, like, no, we understand leverage now. Before, we didn't understand that we had that leverage. People didn't know. They didn't. A lot of people don't even know that they could go to the company right now. If you want to make an extra 10,000, hey boss, I want to work 1099, and you pay your own fucking taxes. You just gave yourself a goddamn raise right there.
Now, see,
most people don't know that,
man,
right?
see,
but people are starting to understand, like, oh, so if I start my own company, then I work for 1099, I don't have to pay my taxes right away. I got to pay later, but also I get 100 more tax write-offs because of it as well.
Damn. So
we got smarter, bro. We got
I hear what you're saying, man. Everything you're saying is valid, but that's, to me, those are two separate arguments or two separate conversations. I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. To me, those are two separate arguments. There's two different types of individuals. One, who are entrepreneurs like myself and us, all of us that's on this panel. At some point, we work for someone, but we realize we didn't need no outside source that, hold on. I want to be an entrepreneur for whatever reason it may be.
Yeah.
That's only a small percentage of individuals. Everybody else, they need to be classified as, I hate to say it, employees. You need employees. Everyone does not have the fortitude or the thought process or the wherewithal to be the owner of your company.
So, but that's the thing. That's the thing right there, Otis. People don't want to be the owner of companies anymore. They want to be the owners of themselves. And that's what is happening. Like, we hear the word, like, for the past 2 years, entrepreneur was like one of the main words we heard. Go work for yourself. Go work for yourself. Even though we understand, like, once you deep into it, you giving service to other people. So you're actually working more for other people as you try to create your own business, right? And that's why a lot of people are on the fence. Some people, they survive and they don't, because if you don't understand that you're working more for somebody else when you open your business.
You have your own business, correct? Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what really happens, right? Because you're servicing somebody. But people are understanding that they don't even need a big clientele. They don't even need a big staff anymore. Is you ADP, and they could do a lot of the fucking work for you. They will service your checks. They will help you with your W-2s at the end of the year. They even help you with 1099. They will help you with a 401k if you want for your company. They will help all these things. This is and as long as you have under 13 people, ADP is perfect for you. You don't got to pay a lot of taxes, right? So you just pay them about like $200 a month, and don't worry about it, because you're gonna. It's
right. Everything you're saying is valid, but the point I'm making is this: I understand what you're talking about. I do. I'm not trying to be funny. This might come off the wrong way. I understand, because I've been in business for the majority part of my life. I understand everything you just said. The average person, no disrespect, on here right now, watching and listening, the average person has no idea about outsourcing and resourcing to help build your business, for as payroll, for as accounting, for as anything, for as your the paperwork that you actually need to bring that in, so you just divvy it out. The average person don't understand about that. I'm talking about the regular, everyday person who, I got my business, I hire John Doe. John Doe wants to come in with limited experience and all of a sudden wants to tell me how to run my business. All of a sudden wants to come to my office after a year or two and wants a raise. Excuse me? No, if you have that much fortitude, I like your attitude, I like your now you need to go get your own business. Because you're coming to me expecting a raise when I don't feel you're entitled to one. But I like your work ethic. Now, if you're strong enough and you feel you can do better, go out and get your own business and understand how that works with your own resourcing and things like that. That's, to me, is the difference. It's a big difference coming in trying to run a business or come in and assuming you deserve something from my business. You didn't put in their work like that. And I'm being honest. If I feel like you're deserving of it, I'll give it to you or I will lead you to the right direction. And that's just the truth about it. But the average person don't think like that, especially these younger individuals. It has nothing to do with race. The younger individuals, I'm tired of what we were talking about earlier. They feel, I hate that word, entitled. What's the minimum wage now in these restaurants? It's up there.
No, not in restaurants.
Is the minimum wage about what, $18 now?
So still in restaurants is still like a different animal because they put they put that tip wage thing on you still. So you still don't get that $20 that like if you work in McDonald's, you probably could get that $20 or whatever. Yeah, but in regular restaurants like what we talking about, it's still that
but even at McDonald's, yeah, you may get that 20, but guess what? They cut their staff in half with the kiosks and all of that. So they got computers and machines doing half the work in most of these restaurants. Yo, I went to Popeyes in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Bro, when I tell you, you don't even see a person until they hand you your food. That's the only person you see when they put your food in your hand.
Absolutely. Everything else they are working their way around that goddamn human being experience. Without a doubt. Pretty soon they're going to have it where you just order it ahead and you just come pick it up. Your order's going to be ready at 10:15. Come pick it up. It's going to be that simple. And then but the younger people, they realize that they can make $500 from at home. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about young people that don't have no skill at all. They can figure out how to sell a weave, eyelashes, lip gloss, candles, fucking socks, bow ties, all these different things that they're creative about, and they can make a decent living as long as they stick to the grind. And they keep going, and they can stay in the projects where they was raised at, wait till their grandmother die, leave them the goddamn apartment building, give them the keys, and they just keep the shit going, and they doing well. That's what happens. I also want to bring a young, thoughtful human being into the conversation. Sway producing, and I'm going to go Brownsville, New York.
What's up, y'all?
What's good?
I'm just listening for now, heard a few things. Not gonna delve deep into that. I guess you guys kind of already addressed the minimum wage aspect for a server. It's not normal. When I was a server 4 or 5 years ago, you come in making $3 an hour.
Right.
Plus tips.
Right.
So or $2. Well, it was $2 an hour. It was like $2.50, and then I got a promotion, so I was making $3.50.
Yeah, talk about it.
Plus tips. Now, granted, there are some places like, let's say if you worked at like a country club and they had a restaurant, you might make $10 an hour plus tips or $15 plus tips, but like they would have to be able to afford it. You got people with memberships of $1 million memberships, so it's different.
Yeah. And plus nowadays, what restaurants is doing, which is a smart business move for the restaurant, they making the service pull tips. That's number one. And number two, all the credit card tips is they paying your tips in a check, so you're not being able to take money home like how it used to be. You can't take money home like that.
It depends.
You gotta actually.
So Sharon, it depends. Like I said, I've worked different restaurants where you pretty much do a whole pool. Then there's some people where you eat what you kill, like whatever you sell is you. And then there's like, share tips. But then the other thing is also like that cash tips. Some places like you have to cash out like the bartenders and shit. So you would have to put that in at the end of the night, what you got in cash tips. But you didn't have to be honest. You just have to give a bare minimum amount based off of what you generated in total sales. So let's say you were getting tipped 30 or 40%. You only had to put the 20% down and you took the other 20% home.
Right, because essentially the staff is paying the staff. Really, that's what's really happening.
But I'm saying like you can't.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
So
a lot of times
I'm the waiter. Sway is the we all the waiters. Sway is the bartender. We all got a tip amount, so he's getting an extra $200-$300 by the end of the day because of how many drinks he served according to whatever our receipt is. So
no, I'm saying like
I'm just saying. So like the whole thing, but they changing the system where that now everything that you put in is going to have to be paid on a check now. It is not as you're not going to be able to take cash home like how we used to. They are changing the laws, and the restaurants are starting to understand how to pay you in check form instead of how it is you go to work, you get a little $200-$300, put that in, and you go figure out what you want to do it tonight.
Like
They trying to slow that down.
Sharon, you know why that is though, right? You know why that is though, right?
Why you say that?
Well, because under the system, like Sway just said, the servers are required to be honest. Well, not required. The expectation is that they're being honest with what they're taking in, right? They're not reporting what they're taking in full, and then the restaurant ends up having to cut a check for them, right? And then they're paying the bulk of the taxes on that. So it's passing on the cost back to the server.
Correct. They're passing it back now.
Well, the profit margin, to your point,
you're supposed to claim 20%. Like it's like 10 to 15%, right? So the idea is that if you're claiming at least 10 to 15% of your cash,
that's correct,
of the total revenue you made on the wage. If you got tipped in cash, and let's say it was a $50 bill and they tipped you $50, you're not gonna claim the whole $50 in terms of your cash wage, like your cash tip. You're probably gonna claim $50.
Hey, but Sway, me and you both know a lot of people not even claiming that 10%, but I think you missed a bigger opportunity. You're actually making the case for why people need to tip the doggone server, man. Tip your server and your bartender, man. With your T-tail. If you're not factoring in gratuity for your night out and you at a full service restaurant, man, don't go out.
No, I think
the problem is a lot of people, they think the tip just goes to the waiter, but the tip goes to the waiter, it goes to the busboy, it goes to the bartender, and some places it also goes to the host as well.
Yeah, you have to tip the host out. You tip the bartender has to tip the bar back out. And sometimes, Sway, I ain't been in restaurants in about 10, 20, probably about 20 years. But shoot, you just have to tip the bar back. The bartender got to tip the bar back. You got to tip the host. Hey, and then you'd have to tip the food runner and the expo.
It'd get crazy.
Yeah. So that little dollar that you tipping, that little dollar that you leaving these servers on $100 tab because you think they didn't fill your water quick enough, man. Anyway. Don't get me started, man.
Wow.
Hey, Sway, I know Sway got stories.
I want to also get E. the Man Williams. He said this is his kind of conversations. Go ahead, E. the Man Williams. What are your thoughts?
I think Chicago Rilla is on one today. Just talk about tipping people just because they got other people to feed. I do have a minimum. Okay, like if I go out to a restaurant, I'm going to give 10%, right? So say
it's cheap as hell.
Let him finish. Let him finish. I know where he's going. Let him finish. I'm on his side.
Y'all
18 at least. 18 at
least. No, please let him finish. Go ahead, Williams.
Hey, let him finish.
God, my first day back on Canada, he already at my neck. First day back.
Hey, listen, you took 10%. Hey.
Don't provoke me to anger, or else you'll be in danger.
God damn it.
Come on, man.
All right, cool.
Before we move on, can I just say one thing to really say?
Hold on, let me finish.
Hold on, let me finish.
What are you talking about?
Golly.
I never been able to finish my statement before you came up here. What are you talking about?
But I'm in the middle of a sentence that Sharon cut me off on. Listen.
I give no fucks.
So me actually showing up to the restaurant, I know for a fact I'm gonna do 10% regardless. Now, it's your responsibility to earn the other 40%. Now, I would tip up to 50% based on your guys' service, how y'all food tastes, because that 40%.
The food?
Listen,
the food don't have nothing to do with me as a waiter.
Right.
Listen, yes, it do. You be like, hey, I
No,
got
hold on,
such.
but that's the problem, Sharon.
You
is
want me
that
to take? All right, so if
when
I'm your way to eat,
Sharon,
you want
hold
me
on,
to taste
Sharon.
it and see if it's to your taste?
Sharon,
I
that's
think
the
Eater
when
Man just
Rilla,
like a
this is
little
what I
pinch
wanted to
more
address
salt because
earlier,
even though I don't
Sharon.
know, even though I don't know this man, let me see. I think I know what his
Sharon,
flavor is.
Sharon, listen, this is what I wanted to tell Rilla earlier when he said, you know, you had your fair share of issues. I was telling him, like, more often than not, it wasn't my fault. Like, a lot of times
Right.
the issues came from a
Right.
different department. Like, the drink was shit, or the food was
Yeah.
ass, or it was
Yeah.
some, you know, it wasn't a server. Like, unless I fucked up their order, it wasn't my
Yep.
fault. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, it had
Or
to
you
been
spilled the drink on them
something
or
I
something. Yeah.
rang wrong, or I wasn't like,
But let
Well,
for
let
the
Eater
me
Man,
most
tell
because
you.
part,
hold
that
on,
wasn't my
hold on,
fault.
Sway, because Eater Man think that the server knows how his tongue palate is, even though that's their first time meeting him.
No, well,
Go ahead, Eater Man.
let me tell you what I do with every server. Every server that has
10%.
listen, every server whoever did, I said, what is the best thing on the menu? I let him tell me, and I don't order. Listen, I know this sounds crazy. I don't order what I want. I want him to give me the best at this restaurant. And if the best that he got in that restaurant is shit, he don't deserve no damn tip. I don't care who cooking the goddamn food.
Hold on.
Listen,
Yeah. Stay out of my
Hold-
restaurant. Stay out of my restaurant. I don't want you at my table.
This is kind of
Look,
interesting to
don't
me.
even come to my house.
Yeah.
If I
Stay
was
out
the
my
waiter at your
restaurant.
restaurant, I've been a vegan for the past 8 years, and you say, what is the best thing
Mm.
on this menu? And I say, according to my taste buds, it is the vegan burger that's made out of beets.
Nah,
so
but like,
so that's
Sharon,
not waiters do.
Sharon, let's
Waiters
say
never tell. Listen, waiters never say that. Waiters say this is the most popular. This is like
That's
waiters
correct.
go. Yeah, they don't go by they taste buds. Hello, they
The
really
better
don't. I promise.
question, though.
Great point. So now, if I tell you what's the most popular, usually the most popular dish is usually not the best tasting dish.
so. This is both of you are actually right. Servers will give their own personal opinion, but they will say, you know, my opinion is different than most. Like they'll give
Right.
caveats. It's not like they'll never say, hey, I like this more than others, but you know, it's up to you at the end of the day. You know, they'll say what's the most popular, all that shit. But the main idea is that if in terms of fucking up the food, like let's say I put in, you want a medium well burger and I put in well done,
That's a
or
problem.
if they cooked it wrong, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the situation where at that point they
Wrong
don't know
food to the
who to
wrong table.
blame. They're
Yeah,
not. They
wrong
don't know.
food,
Yep.
wrong
It's like
table.
you going to blame the kitchen or blame the server. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. So both of you are wrong because it came out wrong.
Hey,
No,
Sway.
no, that's not me though. See, look, I'm a type of person that I'm gonna send it back. I'm like, hey, my burger's not right.
Oh, he the
If that,
one in
hold
the
on,
million. He the one in the
listen.
million.
And you
Hold
know
on,
what?
I
You
just
know,
want to
Let
say
me
I
this.
want, I
Hold
want
on,
Otis to get in there as well. You know what Eater Man is? The server come bring the food. He's like, oh yeah. By the way, can I get mayonnaise? You're like, okay.
Right.
You come, you bring the mayonnaise. Oh, by the way, do you have any mustard as well? I like mustard. So you
Yep.
come bring the mustard. Oh, my glass. I only had like 5 ice cubes. Can I get like 3 more ice cubes, please? You're like, God
hey,
damn it. And now
hey,
you always goddamn running around
Ron,
hey,
For
but hold on, but
10%.
Sherrod, I just want to say
and
this.
give 10%.
Yo,
For
I
10%.
in the comments.
really want to see how I like to see how the waiter is reacting to the problem. Like if they be like, "Hey, check this out."
Oh, he
Yes,
in the restaurant doing a case study. He bugged.
no one asked important questions to me
Nigga,
yet.
I got 5 other tables to wait on. I ain't got time to be jaw jacking with you all day.
Nah.
Yes,
I'm
no
dealing
one
with 10
asked
other
most important questions.
personalities.
and
No
this
I
one
is
got a
asked most
5
important
table
questions.
section.
this is why
What for
I go
your
to really
10%?
this is why I go
Hey,
to really nice restaurants because for some reason they still got 10 tables and I still feel like a
No, they
priority.
don't.
hey,
No,
Damn.
they don't. They
Hey,
have three. They have 3 table sections. Those
I want,
restaurants, that service
I
was
want to
serving
pass
3
it.
tables. My bad, Sharon. Go
I
ahead.
want to pass it to Otis. Hey, look, this is what Eater Man does, right?
Man, I'm finna freaking see this nigga, man. He got me
Hey,
turned up.
he put 20 singles on the table. Every time you do something wrong, he take a $1 bill off.
hey, I like
Right.
that concept. Hey, but check this out. Check this
Y'all
out.
bugging.
No one has asked or made a statement along this line. And I promise I do this every time. Just did it last night. Whenever I go to a restaurant, my wife and I, we sit down, the server comes to the table. The first thing I ask, I promise you, is how do you guys do your tips? Is it pooled or do you get your tips by yourself? Last night, the answer was it's pooled. So at that point, I know how I'm going to judge my tip. It can't be solely on the server.
Now, if she said that I get my tips myself, now your service, your tip is going to be based on only you. Nobody asked that question yet.
So can I push back on that? Can I push back on that a little bit, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're in a civilized society, right? Gratuity is based on, you should be judging the service, right? So I know I was telling Sway earlier, like he's making the case for people tipping a service based on, because I don't think people understand the structure. I think people think giving $1 or 10% as a bare minimum is enough when you make it $2.13 an hour. At least that's what it was when I was serving. $2.13, right?
Yep.
I hear all the go find another job, all that's cool. Here's the other thing: go find another restaurant, right? Because the idea of full dine-in service is you really not lifting a finger. I'm taking your order. We're preparing the food. Your glass is staying full. I'm making small conversation with you. I'm also having to judge your body language and your dialogue so I don't interrupt you at the right time. And if I'm doing service correctly, I don't even have to announce when I come to the table, I'm putting your food in front of you because I'm doing pivot point seating, right?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a great point.
For those things, so listen. People go to these restaurants and don't even understand the proper etiquette or the nuances of dining. The gratuity, the whole concept of gratuity and full service dining was really only introduced for the top elite, right? And so now you scale it and you extend it to the working class and so on and so forth. But there's a minimum expectation that is reciprocated. Either man, to your point, you may start out at 10 and people got to work their way up. There's people who earn 25, 30% tip, right? They earn that gratuity and don't get it.
Right.
Because people are also looking for ways to not tip.
Yeah.
But I know, man, you 1 in a million. You 1 in a million. I'm going on mute.
I just want to say this, Chicago Rilla. First of all, most of the restaurants I go, they don't make no fucking $18. They making 25 to 30. Let's just, I'm not going to restaurants. Like, I just have an expectation because of the type of restaurant that I eat at. If I'm at Olive Garden,
flexing on us.
How would you know that they
flexing
make
on us.
$25 to $30
I'm not trying
an
to
hour?
Flexing on us.
No, I get it. So I don't drink. So
how do you know they make $30 an hour?
Here's the
plus
thing,
tip?
Eda, man. So here's the problem with what you're saying, right? Because on one end you say they making $25 to $30 an hour, but most of the time when we hear people talk about being a sir, they say go find another job. But we both know $25 to $30 an hour would be considered a pretty good job. But everybody knows that they bash and they disrespect service, no matter what restaurant you go to. The higher it is, the more bougie they act.
The craziest part is like what you were talking. The restaurants that E-Man quote unquote he eats at are more than likely doing a pool tip, so it's a full service. So it isn't dictated based off of their own individual accolades. So the idea that they're making $30 an hour plus tips, I highly doubt that. My girl right now works at a multi-million-dollar country club, and their servers don't make $30 an hour plus tips. Granted, they make double-digit hourly, but they're not making 30. That doesn't make. I don't. Yeah,
it may depend on what part of the country you in. Sway. It may depend on what part of the country you in.
Well, I mean, the income where I'm at isn't low income. Like I said, it's not. I'm not in a major city. Granted, he said he was in Seattle, so I'll give him a level of grace. But the idea you're making 30 plus tips more often than not. They're not.
I see what you're saying.
The restaurant's not even going to pay you that because they don't have to.
Hey, look, most of the servers that's making
right,
100,000, most servers and bartenders that make 100,000 and better a year, they don't go home. That's how they make that kind of money. They in that job for 16 to 20 hours. That's the only way you're gonna make that money. But if you just do a regular 9 to 5, you are not making nowhere near 100,000. That's just what it is.
I think Savers, instead of a service getting 20% every table, I think they should want the upside that they can be able to earn more. Because my faith, if you gave me the best service, most of the time I'm gonna ask you what's the biggest tip you ever gave, and I'm gonna match it. So if you tell me that, hey, somebody gave me $1,000, I'm gonna match your tip just because I appreciate your service.
Hey.
So I got the right to criticize.
Throw in the towel. Keep lying.
Sharon,
I am not lying.
Let me ask you a question. See, Eda Man, we see Eda Man coming. If I'm a server and I see Eda Man coming through the door, I'm running from that table, right? Now let's keep it a bean, right? Most restaurants that you go to, I would keep it 1,000 with y'all. When they see black people when the server see a black family come through versus a white family, which family you think they run into first?
Hey,
Of
listen.
course they're going to the white family. Of course they are.
Hey, listen.
Why are they going to the white family though? Hold on. Can we unpack that just a little bit? Not on no racial stuff, but that's a
But
real
it
thing
is
that
racist.
happens. And I want my people to understand. No, I want my people to understand why people run to because I knew a server that made just as much money, and he took all the black families that nobody else wanted. But there's a reason why a server would choose the white family over the. See, you see how we doing like a half-hour dissertation on just tipping, right?
Mhm.
And
I ain't
there are
gonna lie to
people
you.
that
If you want to be
go ahead,
honest with you, bro, because
go ahead.
it's not. I've never had like, oh, I'm not gonna serve you because you're black. But I can always understand that when I'm dealing with black people, it's always extra in some way, bro. Either they want to switch a bunch
Hey,
of shit
Sway.
on. They want
This is
to.
what
They
happens
want to. They want to
when you
switch a
first sit.
bunch of shit on the
Hey, Sway.
menu. They want to act like E-Man, where they want to ask for a bunch
They
of
want to
different
run you.
condiments at separate times. Like it's just, and then
Hey,
like you
Sway.
said, they're not tipping you accordingly to the shit that they want
They
from
ask you for. Hey, Sway. The first thing they're gonna ask you for can I have some hot water at the table? That's one of the first things they're gonna ask you.
To put the silverware in.
Hey, but hey, Chicago Rilla. But hold on.
Number two, if you don't have no hot water to bring today because it's a liability, most
Do you
restaurants
have
do not want to bring no
plasticware?
hot water. They do not want to bring hot water to the table. So number two, they say, so can I get some plastic utensils?
Yeah.
But hey,
Because
Gerard,
you would have to
hey,
understand. Like, listen, when
I
I
don't
was
want to
growing
make
up,
light
I
of
don't
it.
know
I
about
want my
y'all,
people to
right?
understand.
When I was
Uh-huh.
growing up, my black side, Section 8 housing, we didn't go out to eat a lot. So the black people that do go out to eat, them niggas are annoying to deal with a lot of times. You know what I mean? They're not very humble. They're very braggadocious. They very like, you know, I am a king, a god, a queen, serve me type energy. And
hey,
that's
but
not all of them,
Sway,
granted.
They don't
A
know
lot
how
of
to
times,
tip.
hello,
Call
but
it what
We
it
don't want to
is. They
unpack
don't
that.
know
I'm
how
not
to
if
tip.
finished
if
yet.
they're like
Y'all making it
60,
too
if
nice.
they're
They
like
don't know how to tip.
65,
Hey,
if they're like
Well,
65
no.
years
We don't know
old.
proper etiquette in the restaurant though.
all
Otis.
that.
We
Wait,
don't
give me
know.
a second,
All that.
Brilla.
Yeah.
If
Go ahead,
if
Sway.
they're over a certain age, it kind of dies down to a little bit more calm. Like if they're over like 65, 70. But like them 40, 34-year-olds, like, yo, them niggas are annoying.
But Sway in Chicago Rilla. You gotta understand from the customer point of view, we have that same feeling. If we walk into a restaurant, it's a black lady versus a white lady. We feel the same thing y'all feel when y'all see
Wait, what you
us.
mean? No. What do
It's
you mean?
stereotypical. You can't get around it. I'm
No,
sorry. And if you don't
no.
admit it, people are lying. When you see a
Wait.
couple,
Hold on. Break that down. You saying when you walk in and see a black server versus a white server, you're judging the black server against the white server.
What I'm saying is when I walk into a restaurant, if I seen a black server, a white server,
Uh-huh.
and an Asian, y'all can
Uh-huh.
call me wrong, but the
No,
first thing in most people's mind says that I'm gonna have a harder time with this black woman than these other two
absolutely
women.
not.
Hello, listen, I get you different. I know Chicago, you're different.
No. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
But I just believe in most people being honest. They
Uh-huh.
feel that they're gonna get a different experience, just like the waiter feel like they're gonna get a lesser tip based on who's
Uh-huh.
walking into that door.
Now, Eater Man, this is where I think you're saying something just to say something, just to keep it a bean. Most people would go to the black server, and I've seen this plenty of times, versus the white server. They tend to do that because, number one, people already look at black people in a subservient position. They think they know a lot more about the local restaurants or what is there to do around here? Where can you go? People don't look at a black server and think that black server is going to give them a hard time. If you look, let me do a quick history lesson. Even if you look at the Pullman porters, right? The reason why George Pullman became the largest employer of blacks in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, was because he hired slaves because they knew how to serve. So no, people don't look at black people, white person, and an Asian person and judge what type of service they're gonna get based on the face that they see in front of them. But what I do know, and I'm saying this from having worked in a restaurant, I think it's, I just wanted to unpack the conversation
But
because I think it's a real
Rilla,
thing,
would
and I
you
want my
agree?
people,
Sorry, finish. Sorry.
I want my people to understand like proper etiquette when you go into a full service dining restaurant and why it's important to tip, and at least understand the basic baseline. right? Do you see how the servers or bartenders responded when it was introduced 10%? Or when it's, I'm going to start here and you got to work for it, right? So I get it. If you have bad service, because I've had to teach my wife this, there's a number of ways to deal with it, right? And there's a number of ways to correct it. And if you honestly feel that you got bad service, then that's fine. But a lot of times, and the truth of it is, a lot of us don't have proper etiquette. A lot of us don't even know salad fork from a dinner fork, from a dessert fork, right? And we go into these restaurants and we run these people ragged for $3 an hour. That's all I'm saying, fam. That's all I'm saying. We got to change that narrative that exists, and we got to change that narrative.
The thing where I thought E-Man was just talking is because the discrimination isn't based off of race. Discrimination is based off of gender as a server. Like, it is not. If you were ever a server or ever been in a restaurant, you know the women make a lot more in terms of tips, in terms of energy. Like discrimination in servers and all that isn't going to be like.
I disagree. I disagree.
No, I can see the point. I can see the point for that one, Sharon. I can see the point for that one.
Nah, I disagree. People like good service. People don't really care about the gender when they getting served their food, unless you just a single man and you like in like a like a Buffalo wing spot or some shit like that. But if you in a regular restaurant, yeah, like you in Hooters or something, yeah, they ain't gonna want.
So more often than not.
But I also want to bring Otis. He wanted to bring something into it. Go ahead, Otis.
I hear what everybody's saying. I agree to a certain extent, but to me, it boils down to this. As a cultural thing, it's unfortunate, and I experience this all the time. You go into a restaurant, you see a big table, 8+ of our people, and it's sad, but I'm going to say it. 8+ of our people at a table versus 8+ of anybody else at a table. The bill come, the tip is not even the way it's supposed to be, unfortunately, from our table. And I witnessed it firsthand. It could be 4 couples at a table of us. 2 couples are tipping 15 to 25%, and you got the other 2 couples that have no idea how to damn tip. They had 10%. I see it all the time. And the majority is young folks, our demographic, young folks, 10+, got their babies on their hip. They got the seat, for the babies at the table. They loud. And then when the bill come, I got this part. Don't let them come all together and you got to pay it. Somebody didn't pay their part. You paying their tip. It happens all the time. And
unfortunately, gratuity.
So you can't order no gratuity all the time. So I got to suffer when me and my wife come in, because this happened to me last year. And I almost got that restaurant closed down. They did not serve me and my wife because they confused us with another couple of color because they said that we didn't tip the last time. Are you kidding me? Me and my wife sold our ass in that restaurant, and they gave us a free dinner and all that. So that's our fault. One, we don't know how to tip as a whole. I do, but as a whole, we don't. And we don't have the proper restaurant etiquette. That's number 2. But it starts with the tipping. Let's be real about that. Let's be real. Who know how to tip on a drink by itself? When you're sitting at the bar, are you supposed to tip 15%? Or if your beer is $8, do you just tip 2? Versus a restaurant, you sitting at a dinner and the bill is $85. You tip a minimum of 15% out the gate. I get that. And you go up from there. Again, ask the question, are these tips being pulled when you first sit down? That's how you judge your tip.
I like old dog.
Hold on. Before Eater Man get cursed out again, I want to welcome LA Project. She is somebody that's in the industry that understands it very well, and she can give us some more insight because she is currently understands the temperature of what's going on in these restaurants. Go ahead, LA Project.
She probably understaffed too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm actually kind of not trying to make it all personal, but like because we were understaffed, I injured myself at work as a bartender. Yeah. So that's another thing that we have to, bring into play. But Otis, I mean, I understand what you're saying to a certain degree, but like when you are okay, like if you are being like prejudged or mistaken by somebody else, I can understand that. My mama always taught me you take your money where you're appreciated. So I wouldn't have even have trusted the food that they would even given me even if it was free. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've already set the tone, So because you just don't know. But I mean, there's just a lot that is that should be taken into consideration. I mean, there's a lot of side work. There's a lot of like Sharon said, running around, a lot of prep stuff that we're doing, a lot of individual stuff, and we can't be like known. We can't be expected to know your personal preferences.
I forgot about the side work.
Yeah.
LA, what side work? What side work? So they know. What side work?
You didn't touch that. You gotta set things up before you even get to take on your first table.
Silverware, rolling the silverware.
Yeah, silverware, making sure the salt and pepper shakers are not only full but clean.
It depends on what time of the day you come in.
The sauce containers, whether it be ketchup or whatever, you got to wipe the inside so when people take the cap off, they don't see no crust. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of individualized type of stuff, and it seems very like small, but it's very detailed.
And Sway, do not act like the morning people, the people that come in and open the restaurant, they don't do no damn work, because everybody that closed the restaurant, they do all the goddamn work for you.
So it's a mixed bag, right?
Don't do that. Don't do that, Sharon.
So there'll be times where even the closers will leave. Closers will miss stuff, or they'll leave shit, and you will have to do that in the morning. You know what I mean? Because I pretty much closed, came in the afternoon, open. I've done it all, right? So I've experienced every position. So at that night, more often than not, you deep cleaning, floor bussing, bathroom cleaning, shit like that. All the silverware that needs to be rolled and prepped. And that really varies on the night. If you was booming, you had 3 to 4 back-to-back covers, and it's just rolling 400, 300. Like, it's just like depending on the size of the restaurant, and how many servers you got.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, like,
you could be rolling silverware for an hour and a half.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
I made my bread rolling silverware.
Hey, listen, I helped my friend out.
I used to do that. That was one of my hustles
too. And listen, they knew me. Once they seen a black person, do not sit that person at my table. Do not. I tell them straight up. They look at me like I was crazy. They's like,
no. I wanted to say something about
Chicago. Hey, look, the black couple would come into the restaurant. They look at me and immediately start laughing. They like,
man.
And they ass over there.
No, like I had put in the comments earlier, like I had lived in St. Thomas for a little while and worked in a restaurant there. And it was just like kind of like a reputation that the natives didn't tip very well. So the owners of these restaurants would put automatic gratuity on there just to make sure that everything kind of evened out.
Oh yeah, those damn Europeans. As soon as they sit down, they have a different accent. No, get them out my damn section too. I don't want
their tip is built in. But just so, Sharon, she brings up a good point. Just so people understand also, because I went somewhere in the city not too long ago, and I ordered something simple, but it was somebody's birthday or whatever. Anyway, it was automatic gratuity on there, and I had to think about exactly where I was. And then I understood, right? So when you see automatic gratuity on a check, that's to overcorrect for the fact that too many people come to that restaurant and they're not compensating the service. Now the service starting to complain. So you can't lose service and be in a position like LA Project, right?
Right.
You're so understaffed that as a manager, you're having to bartend. That's insane.
Really, I think that varies because I worked at a business and you couldn't do automatic unless it was over a certain amount of people. I don't know. And I couldn't remember because that happened at back-to-back places. So I couldn't remember if that was a company policy or if that was a state policy. Like you couldn't automatic gratuity unless it was over a certain amount of people. Like.
So I was at what you seeing in the marketplace now. That's what. And I'm sorry, Sharon. I don't. Just really quick though, because I got to get back to work in a second. Y'all got me triggered this damn morning talking about servers and restaurants. Either man, I hope your ass ain't go nowhere. But Sway, what you're seeing, the market is responding. So maybe where you're at, it hasn't filtered there yet. I'm saying in the city of Chicago and I know in Atlanta,
I know in New York they did that.
You're seeing regardless of party amount. It was just me and my wife.
Yeah, I went
at a lounge. and it's after a certain time, there's a gratuity on what it don't matter. And
that's wrong.
Know this, that automatic, well, they overcorrecting for servers not getting tipped.
Yeah.
So I'm not,
So,
I understand the workers of the industry, so I ain't tripping.
If you're young, they'll automatic gratuity you. If you're black, they're gonna automatic gratuity you. If you look like you not gonna tip, they're gonna automatic gratuity you. Now, if you look like you gonna tip, they not gonna put shit, and they gonna hope for the best and hope they get that extra 50%.
Damn, that's true.
So let me. I want to
you're gonna tip more.
So I want to talk to this as well as being a service. So again, like once you start being a service to human beings, you start to recognize them before they could come in. You kind of tell by they walk, they talk, how they move, the way how they move their mouth, how they talk with their hands. You can recognize. It's not even how they dress with the clothes. Right, it's about how they move. You'll see, because it could be somebody coming there looking just like nice, hip popped out, but the way how he carry himself, you're like, yeah, I want that table. And then they got another couple that comes in and they come in this motherfucker and they look like Sherry Berry. You like, I don't want that table.
Or they might be regulars. Or they might be regulars and you know they tip.
I don't think you're gonna get a big tip off celebrities all the time either.
So like what I'm saying is that you start to recognize who people are from the gate. And it's just it just so happened that a lot of our people that's from where they from, we recognize them from the gate, and we know it's going to be a struggle for them to tip because they're not used to going outside. You can tell by how they carry themselves that they ain't used to going out to a place. Sometimes they just walk right into the restaurant, walk right past the host, and try to sit themselves. You're like,
Sharon, the overcorrection that Rilla was talking about is that you can, as a black person, Sharon, you can even look like you would tip, but they not going to risk it.
It's a little scary, and then it goes the same thing with those goddamn Europeans. Like Europeans walk inside your restaurant, you're like, God damn it!
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah,
you know they're going to be rude. You know they're going to be rude. They don't know how to speak to you.
Yep.
You'll come up to the table, beer. The fuck you mean beer? I said hello. I said hello. How you doing? Motherfucker, beer. All right, so what kind of beer you want? I don't know, beer. Like, motherfucker, I said, slap the hell out you right now.
Damn, Sharon, racial profiling. Damn, Sharon.
You just recognize them from afar. You can see them, and and a lot of the times, another thing that people don't understand as well is 90% of the time when you first greet a table, they are greeting you back with attitude because they are hungry.
Yes.
And all you said was, "Hello, hey, how y'all doing?" Man, they don't even say hello back to you. They don't even acknowledge you at all. They act like you're some kind of second class human being. And after they eat and they feel good about everything, then that's when they open up and say, "Man, that was the best."
Well, you better bring that bread over quick.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So people got to understand that point, that you don't realize how many times that person was met with a lot of vitriol for no reason. All they said was hello, and they got to deal with that. Like they see at least 100 people, 100. They see at least 100 tables, and each table have 2 to 4 people at minimum.
Look, you see how Otis said his first question be like, "How do your tips work?" When y'all say hello, I'll be like, "How's your day going?" Because if you feel like you've been having a bad day already, I might want to on my table.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I crack jokes all day when you right, nice. When they say hello, hey, how's your day going? They say they're not having a good day. I try and relate to them on some level. You know what I'm saying? You right. But you don't know what people are going through. We all still human. And I think Sharon was saying that earlier. We are losing that human connection, fam. Yeah. We keep forgetting that it's people. You know what I'm saying? They got a heart, they got blood, they got lungs, they got everything that you got. You understand what I'm saying? So they got issues going on the other side of that lease line too. Yep. You know?
Yo, Rilla.
And yes, sir.
I had the
wait, before you go, Sway, I want to mention one more thing before you go, Sway. Hold on, Sway. Hey, also, listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Servers pay attention to your watch too. If you have a nice watch and you look crazy, they might willing to accept that table.
Oh, damn.
Guys,
no, ain't that an OSHA violation? No, ain't supposed to be no watch on the ship.
Saran tripping. Saran on one this morning.
Talking about he wearing a Rolex to serve. No ass ain't supposed to have no Rolex on serving, nigga. My bad, Sway. The old niggas are rambling this morning. My bad, Sway.
Can I answer a question real quick? Oh, you about to move on?
Yeah, Sway has something.
No, Sway.
No, I was saying I had the perfect example because I went out the other night and I went out to the bar. It was like 12. So, you know, they were going to shut down soon. They usually close around 2. But I think they were closing at 1 that night, and they were starting to shut down to do what they got to do for the last hour. But like all the bartenders seemed pissed the fuck off. Like I couldn't even get a drink. Like I was saying, hey, hello. Like they was not trying to like give no service. They didn't give a fuck about nothing. I'm like, yo, my first inclination is like they're not pieces of shit. I'm like, ain't nobody tipped them, or a bunch of other people came in and be pieces of shit towards them, and now this is the bartenders I got to deal with. And so I was like trying to get a drink, and another guy came up and he was like, you know, talking to me about it and whatever. And then he started to like tap on the fucking bar like repeatedly, like aggressively, and then the bartender dude just snapped. And he was trying to snap on me. I was like, motherfucker, I don't know this dude. Don't move me up with him. And like, you're not about to yell at me for trying to get a drink, motherfucker. I'm not the bad guy here. If you want me to tip you, be a little nice to me at least. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I went into a yelling match with him for a minute because I was kind of pissed. I'm like, bro, I'm not the nigga you are yelling at. And then, but at the end of the day, he was like, if you're not going to get a drink or you can get the fuck out. I was like, nigga, shut the fuck up first. Second of all, I want to give you a tip. But if you want me to give you a tip, I'm going to need you to be cooperative and at least give me some attention and give me a fucking drink, nigga. Like, what the fuck type of shit is that? I just got here.
Wait, what the hell? Can you enjoy your drink after that?
Yeah, because I had to go somewhere. I had to go pay off a tab at a different bar. I had to go back. I said, I got to go pay off a tab. I'm going to need these 2 drinks. He's like, I got you. Because he wanted a tip, but it was just like, and he knew I wasn't the bad person. I'm like, bro, I'm not. I don't know why.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm the bad guy here. I want to give you 50% tip right now, but because I can see how you're upset. But the way you going about coming at me, you're not going to get that. So either make my drink and shut the fuck up so you can get your tip, or we can keep going to the screaming match and I'm gonna be on my way. You be fucking.
Goddamn. And also, I wanna eat a man before he lose service. I want eat a man jump in there. Go ahead, and also tip your contenders as well. Tip your contenders. Go ahead, eat a man.
I just think like that's crazy. That whole story is just crazy to me that you want to beg somebody to take your money. Now I am the type of person that you should have left. You should say, man, I'm gonna go back over with my tab at, because obviously he don't want to work.
No, because the idea is I'm empathetic to his plight. That was the main reason why I was talking to him about it. I was like, nigga, I understand what you're going through. I'm not oblivious. I know why you're mad. You're not mad just because you didn't walk in here up angry and you just didn't give nobody drinks all night. Like, this started somewhere, and I don't want to be the one to keep it going on. Because my idea is I'm just trying to get a drink and keep it pushing. I'm with my girl trying to have a good time, and you fucking it up.
See, but wait, I think you the problem. Because the reason
you can think I'm the problem, but niggas like you are annoying to fuck to deal with.
I get that. No, the whole point that I'm saying is he gave you bad service and he still had an expectation that he was going to get a tip.
After I talked to him.
So after you counseled with him to tell him how to do his job,
I yelled at his ass and he gave me my drinks.
Damn.
Hey, also, I want y'all to understand too. You know, tipping did come from
like no bitch.
Tipping came from a point of privilege. Tip is actually an acronym.
Yes.
It's actually an acronym. It means to ensure promptness. That's what it actually means. So what used to happen back in the day.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's dope.
Yeah,
that means. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
To ensure promptness. So therefore, you'll go and tip the person before you actually get served. So this way, you know you're going to get good service. That's where tipping came from originally. That's how it started. So you'll go to your server and you say, hey, you know, make sure you take care of my family. And then that's how the whole tipping thing came on. That's how you got great service. But as time went on, you know, it went the other way around. People started, because people are more broke, so they tip after they get their service. Like Eat a Man, they have a like Eat a Man. They take their tip away from you as you go down the line.
Yo, see, that's why those Italian gangsters are beloved figures. You see the Italian gangsters, they tipping everybody. They tipping the doorman, they tipping the valet, they tipping the shoe shine. They ain't asking. They ain't putting no undue stress on them folks.
They selling drugs.
Hey, Eat a Man sound like Black Dynamite, but Black Dynamite, I sell drugs in the community.
No, it's funny you
Wow,
said
let me
that.
see
And
though.
there's one place
Damn.
that I always tip first. There's one place that I always tip first, and that's when I go to weddings. Like weddings with the open bar. Like the first thing I do
Yes.
is put a $20 tip in the cup.
Yes.
Oh, they make
And you
sure
straight
my
all
drink
night.
is right all
Yes.
night.
Damn, I
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm
wait,
using that one.
keyword open
I'm
bar.
using that one, Beast.
Keyword open bar, man. Tip the even if it's open bar, tip the bartender, man.
Right.
And you gonna be straight all night.
All night.
Not
Another
you
thing
eat
is,
it, man. Not you eat it, man.
hold on, no, I got you. Listen, so when you go on cruises, hey, when you go on a cruise is very busy. It is smart to actually tip them before you even get started because they will notice you with 20 people at that
Okay.
bar and make you a priority.
I agree.
Right. So now hopefully everybody we learned something today. To ensure promptness, you need to tip before you get service so they understand what
Yes.
they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Go ahead, LA Project. Would you appreciate somebody just dropping 20 as soon as they sit down?
Oh yeah, that'd always be nice, as long as it doesn't stop there. No, I'm just playing. It would depend, like I said, on the number of people, the amount of attention. Are there children that I have to look after or take care of? There's certain things, but yeah, definitely, it would definitely stand out in my mind in order to say, okay, this individual is kind of maybe in a hurry. He needs, like you said, priority,
They
and
got a
he's
movie to go
showing
to.
that.
Right.
So let me go ahead because, like you said, we might have 5, 6, 7 tables. And it's a lot. Like I said, depending on the number of guests. Okay, are we splitting checks? Oh, this round's on me, but the next one's on him. It's a lot of stuff going on. So like, yeah, like we definitely.
We got a rich man. We got a rich man. He gonna tell us why
And
we
you're gonna
not
get shouted
tipping.
out the next time.
Hold on, y'all. And let Kasim let y'all know how you gotta tip 75% at all times.
How much?
Dirty Jers in the building. Dirty Jers in the building. King of the bandits. Peace, God.
What's up, Sharon? How are you guys on the panel? This is a very interesting conversation. I'm old school, right? I believe in tipping according to the service that I get. I don't believe in that 20%. I pay according to the service that I render. I have tipped 50 cents at one time, and I've also tipped $500. Right. So it really depends on the service that I get. And I think right now the culture is that just because you show up for work and you do the bare minimum, you're supposed to get paid for that. And I don't believe that. When I go out drinking, like if I go to a hotel bar, I'll tip. I'll get I'll get an old fashioned. Right. That's normally 20. I'll give her $40 and say, keep the change. I'll get another drink. Give her another $40, keep the change. And then after that, all I gotta do is just raise my hand and boom, they come running over. She may even give me a free drink during that process. So I do believe in tipping the bartenders, particularly when you get there early and it begins to get crowded, then you just raise your hand and they come right to you and you hand you the drinks. But when it comes to the restaurant, no, I tip according to the service that I get. Sorry.
Let's go.
When's
It sounds like
the last time
money
you
sounds
gave?
the same.
Hold on.
Money
When's
sounds
the last
the
time
same,
you gave Hold on. When's the last time you gave a 50-cent tip? Kasim?
3 weeks ago.
Damn.
Okay. Now wait. Okay, wait. Now describe the service. Describe the restaurant and describe the service.
Okay. It's a restaurant that I've only been to one other time. And this was here in Brooklyn, not in Manhattan. We decided to do a special trip. It was called The Grill. And yes, they used to include the tips in the meals, but for this particular instance, I guess they didn't include it. And the woman was very haphazard. She was slow. She didn't bother coming over to our table, asking us what we needed. We had to get her attention, several times. And then just her attitude serving us wasn't quite well. Just her energy was quite off. And it's like, if you don't want to be to work, then why don't you just stay at home? Because all you're doing is you're disservicing the reputation. You're disservicing what the client experience is, right? Because if I was so mad, I could have went on Yelp and wrote a horrible review, right, for that service. And at the end of the day, I got the bill, which was, what was it, $170 something. I just put a little 50-cent tip on there.
Damn.
And I called the Uber. I called the Uber Black, and me and my baby girl, we rolled out and came home.
Hey, listen.
But you got to ask the famous question. No, what was the race of your Raider?
She was black.
Okay.
No, but also hold on, Edelman. The only problem that you miss is that he was in a Caribbean. He was in a Caribbean restaurant, and this is how Caribbean people this is how they treat you there. They are slow moving. This is part of their culture. That's their culture. She thinks she gave great service. That's the problem. But number two, I remember one time somebody tried to tip me $1. I gave that $1 back. I ran out the restaurant. I said, "Oh, look, you forgot your change, sir." He said, "No, that's a tip." I said, "No, clearly you need this more than I needed. Take your goddamn $1 back."
I would have taken it, put it back in my pocket. I would have taken it, put it back in my pocket, and you'd have seen me rolling my Uber Black out of there.
Kasim, do you agree with Sharon's assessment of Caribbean culture and service?
Yes.
Okay. What's the other time you tipped 50% before this for the last 3 weeks? Because I don't take you for a cheap type dude.
No, I'm not cheap, man. I'm just old school. I believe in getting a tip according to your service, man. I don't just believe in just giving you some picture.
Bumpy Johnson was old school too. He tipped.
Hey, listen,
yeah, he and I are two totally different men. We're totally different men with totally different standards, totally different values, totally different everything. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think people, when you go out to a restaurant, particularly when you bring in a significant other, you're going off for a particular experience, and everyone knows that. Everyone knows that, you're not always the server. Sometimes you are the person that's getting served. And I'm just a big believer in getting the experience that you got and you passing that on to your other individuals. Like when I go out shopping and things like that, I look at the service that I'm getting, and then when I go back to my job, I tell the service that I got, like, hey, I'm over at this store, they gave me amazing service. You guys need to do X, Y, and Z. And I think if you remain competitive in that way of improving the service that you got, then the service industry could be much, much better.
And yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think it's a misunderstanding that people don't like waiters to be assertive and be direct and say no to things. That you gotta say, "Oh, I'm sorry." That's bullshit. Anytime because like I'm very direct, right? So when I was there, because I didn't have no real service skills, so to speak, but I was just always answer people respectfully. They're like, "Oh, can I get some sweet tea?" No. They like, "Excuse me?" Yeah, we don't serve that here. Where you think you are? This is New York. We are not down south. They're like, "Oh, well," then we have a whole conversation. And usually the times when I was being very assertive, that's when I got the best tips, which was always the weirdest. When I first started and they were trying to tell me to be not myself and be polite, it didn't work for me. Me being so-called rude, that's when I got my goddamn tip. They was like, "Man, I love how assertive you are," because I was gonna
there was a restaurant based on that model of being rude. I forget what's the name of it. They had the last one in Nashville.
They like, so
I don't know if we can say it on here.
Listen, I'm like, look, I'm like, "Are y'all ready to order?" Yes, I was thinking about, I'm not sure. I said, "So clearly you're not ready to order. I'll be back in 2 minutes."
Damn.
I ain't got time for it.
Would you at least say that with a smile?
Nope.
No,
that's
he didn't.
Because I didn't want them to think I was playing around. I was like, "Hey, so clearly you're not ready. I'll be back in 2 minutes."
Oh, that nigga thought he was the Rakim of service. Talking about he ain't no joke. That nigga thought he was Rakim.
But you know what though? It's funny he say that. I'm pretty sure it's probably not at all restaurants. There is at least one server that could get away with that because that's truly his or her personality. I know it don't happen often, but I can see you getting away with that. I'm pretty sure there was nobody else in that restaurant like you, correct? That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Otis, he wouldn't have got no damn tip. Y'all trying to justify that badass service?
I ain't trying to no. I wouldn't do it.
Hell no.
I had a question, even in the chat, because I hear very strong, like, from Mr. Otis and from either man when it comes to, like, you got to show me what you got when it comes to the service.
Most definitely.
So do you receive like bad service, like on an average basis, or like what?
That's a good question.
No, not even close.
It sounds like it's more like you know, I don't understand like why you have to like go back and walk it, you know, like my burger is, you know, you just tell your server and they'll take care of it. But like,
See,
I was
LA,
just
LA,
wondering,
That's
like,
your question. That's your question. No, trust me, I don't. But when I receive bad service, I'm going to let you know about it.
see,
For example,
1,000, yeah.
hold on,
yeah,
see,
it just sounds predominantly like you get bad service. I just wasn't
no,
sure.
no, LA,
of
see,
course
LA,
not. No,
LA, I want you to understand it is so rare for me to get bad service. That's why I'm so displeased with it.
exactly that point. Yes.
Now, if
Yeah.
that was the normal, if I go into restaurants and I have bad service all the time, maybe I understand. But I realize that out of 100 restaurants I go to, 95 of them can get it right. I'm not going to reward the 5%.
Mm-mm.
I ain't gonna
And
lie
I
to
don't
you.
think you should.
I was one of those mean servers. I'll let you know exactly what it is. One person they came today. It's like it's my birthday. I was like, good for you. It's nice to know.
Hey, Sharon, can I please
Was you
ask
the
LA
head
Project
server?
Yo, S, I would have tripped you. I'd have waited till you came with the biggest tray and I'd have tripped the shit out of you.
Hey, Sharon, can I
Hey,
ask LA Project a question, please?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, please.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question. This happened, of course, this weekend. We at a restaurant. We ordered our appetizer. Another couple came in right behind us, sat right next to us. They ordered the same appetizer. Minutes go by. Minutes. We're drinking our drink. The couple that came in behind us, they got their appetizer before we got ours. So in that situation, and it's the same appetizer, clearly, what would you do in that situation? Me being the person that felt negated, felt rejected. I'm not going to say it was race, even though it was a white couple and the restaurant was predominantly white and there wasn't too many of us in there. And to have us skipped over by another couple that got the same appetizer, it just happened Friday. Would you tip in that situation? And what explanation would be acceptable? If there is an explanation that is acceptable.
They just mixed up the tables. The runner served
Yeah,
it. Was it was it the runner that served it or was it the server that dropped it?
I don't know.
If it was the runner, then the runner probably was ass and didn't know the right table number.
Yeah, that's what it probably was.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
And also, you know what I would like to say too about the tipping as well. I noticed this as well when I was working in the thing.
Yeah, I thought you were going to answer, Lauren.
Black people tip me the most is when they see me have an attitude, the same attitude with them, and I had the same attitude with a white person right next to them. They loved it. And some white person kind of say something, and I check their ass. They look back. They look at me like, "Who's this nigga on the ass?
Look at this nigga.
Sharon, you having way too much fun with this shit, man. I think you just get off on cussing folk out, man.
Can I respond to Otis?
When those black folks seen that I didn't code switch, like I gave the same exact service, and they seen that it wasn't a race-based thing, that this is just how I served, and I didn't code switch. They absolutely loved it. They be like, they whisper to me, man, the way how you talk to, I ain't never seen nobody talk like that. I'm like, y'all crazy as hell. So hey, you gotta be consistent, because the people that are you serving, they recognize that you gave better service to one table versus another. So if I'm at my table and I recognize you're giving a better service to that other customer, I feel a certain way, and that's going to affect your tip as well, is what I was trying to say.
I know LA Project, she wanted to respond.
Yeah, what LA Project was going to say to my response, to my answer.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I was, saying earlier, like, I was taught just to take your money where you're appreciated. So me personally, I've gotten a bad, vibe or a bad attitude from a waitress after just ordering a sweet tea. Sorry, Sharon, I live in the South. But after getting my sweet tea, and I didn't like her attitude, so I paid for my drink and we would leave. Me and the kids, we out. You know what I'm saying? So if you choose to stay, then it's like,
yeah.
But there's things that could happen, because I've been a server for many years. It's a mental Rolodex sometimes, and I could have put in the other person's order before. Oh crap, I forgot to put in their order, and so yours is put in after, because I just simply forgot. Me as a server, I always try to communicate as much as possible. I don't tell on myself, but I will come up with some, hey, I'm sorry, the kitchen's a little backed up right now, but I just checked on your order. It's going to be about 5 extra minutes. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
And then,
And it
So
goes a long
I got
way.
a question for
And it
LA
goes a long
Project.
way.
and also as a
And
server,
then
you
Eater
know,
Man
when you
should
have
be
a
50
when you
Cent.
have a Caucasian table, you
That's
know
why
to
I want my
bring
tips.
you know to bring extra mayonnaise when they order French fries, because that's how they eat their French fries. So you just gotta know this, so you don't get axed again. I'm just
So,
saying.
Right. I know you want extra
Shit.
sauce. I already know that. I might ask you after I know what you ordered. Okay, do we need any extra condiments on the side? I'm bringing your silverware. I'm bringing all that stuff out before the food even gets there. Like, I don't know. I'm just detail oriented like that.
so I got a question for LA Project.
Wait, before you answer the question, I want to address the super chat.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Shout out to Chicago. He says productive build. I appreciate you, Chicago Rilla. Eater Man Williams. He says, LOL, the average person don't have a business. We are talking about money today. My type of conversation. Eater Man as well. Shout out to Christopher J for being a member for the month. Shout out to Tony Golden. Convo so much better since you divestment. Keep going. I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh yeah, do you?
Next level, moving forward. A tip when I'm first seated, and if the service is great, I tip again. Tip your server. Talk to your server. Shout out to the panel. Salute Sharon SBG. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Shout out to Missy T. Thank you, girl.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Shout out to Brownsville, New York. He says a tip based upon energy, spirit, and friendliness of the server. If your spirit is correct and you're friendly to me, big tip. If you're not, you will get the bare minimum. Peace and love. Shout out to Carl Anderson. He says, black men don't like dealing with black women. Black women don't like dealing with black men. Circle of dysfunction. We weren't born this way. I don't know where
Damn,
that
Carl Anderson. I don't know about that one.
I also want to welcome Damien to the conversation, and we just keep on talking. Go ahead, Damien. We're gonna switch up topics in a few.
Hey, what's up, brothers? It's good to have y'all having a good conversation over here. What's up, Kasim, Sharon?
What's up, man? What's good with you?
Not much. Yeah, I was just talking about the tip thing. It's funny because I feel like I always got to tip 20% regardless, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because you split those tips throughout the whole. Most places split the tips throughout the whole restaurant. So I'm not gonna punish the other people who work in there. They're just trying to make their money, make their bread. Right. So I'm gonna do that. If it's exceptional, I'll over tip. Like Kasim, I'll always give a little bit more, but I always got to give the 20%. And another thing, my real talk, my black guilt start to creep in a little bit, where it's just like I feel like I gotta make up for the brothers and sisters who get there and don't tip. Facts. So anytime, because sometimes I go to restaurants where you don't see a lot of people that look like us up in there. And I don't want them to think anytime a brother come in, they're like, oh, he ain't gonna tip shit. He ain't gonna don't worry about him. Don't go over and above for him. You ain't got to worry about that. Just give him the bare minimum. And I feel like I'm trying to set the stage for the next brother to get that same level of consideration as anybody else. So yeah, so it's just a thing that I've been doing for a while.
Unfortunate, but there's that part. I feel the same way. Damn, I echo the same sentiments. It's unfortunate that you feel that way, but yeah.
Yeah, especially in those situations where people they don't see us because I'm already getting prejudged walking in the door.
Exactly.
I feel like, damn, I don't want this to. I'm trying to lay the groundwork for the next brother so he could just have a real good experience and he ain't got to deal with that.
Yeah, I don't believe in that community stuff.
Eater Man saying screw that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be different at a restaurant anyways. So you gonna notice me, and I don't care about the next black man because that's his responsibility to earn his own way. Like that's crazy to me. But I got a question for LA Project. So hey LA, my question is, we know that waiters prejudge. What are some of the prejudging things that happen when a couple or individual walk into a in a restaurant?
What are some of the prejudging things about people who come into restaurants?
Yeah. So say when you have groups of people or different types of people come into a relationship from a waiter point of view, and I know you might not do this, but what are some of the things that you think waiters prejudge while people are coming to the restaurant before they get served?
Well, I mean, from the comments that I've heard from like my other coworkers and stuff, it seems like it's more off of prior experience. You know, like just having certain people having reputations like, oh, I've seen them before. They always do this or they always do that. I don't see any type of general like, oh, this person is a certain race or whatever. So we're not going. I usually work in more Black owned establishments. I live in Atlanta. So it's not really like everybody's just like, hey, you know, like it doesn't matter. And me personally, I'm trying not to speak personally, but when I see from like I said, from my coworkers and things like that, it's more because of a reputation. If this person is a regular and they're known to come in here and do certain or be of certain behavior or have certain tendencies, then that's when I'll see the eye rolling. I'll hear the negative comments. But normally they just like, okay, like, well, I got a new table. I'll be right back. You know, like just going through the motions. It's not anything that I hear behind the scenes that's like a pre-notion of anybody prior, unless they know them, you know, from experience.
Hey, LA, I lived in Atlanta for 20 years. I worked at ESPN Zone. I worked at Fridays. I worked at Copeland's. Worked at Rockies. Worked at all them shits. You look at, and I did. If it was us, dough, they was prejudged. But it was the same with white folk. They was prejudged as if you was gonna get better tips from them a lot of times. Then you looking at how they dress. You listening for how they talk. Looking at if they got a gang of tattoos. You look at I'm saying for my experience, to Eda Man's question.
Yeah.
You looking for if they got basic restaurant etiquette, especially if you've ever worked in full dining and you've worked like white glove service. You're looking for people who got basic etiquette because they know how to tip. They know what the expectation is.
I understand what you're saying, but also in Atlanta, the places that you named were, you know, corporations. You know, ESPN Zone was a multi-level, center full of games, interactive things, food, and everything else. I'm talking about brick and mortar, standalone Black businesses. Mostly on Peter Street.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
The M bars.
Oh,
the
yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of a little bit different. I don't
Oh
have
shit,
that.
you've been over there for a minute too then, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So
shit.
it's just a different feeling. I understand what you're saying, but when I did get into fine dining and had to wear the long apron and the button-down shirt with the tie and everything, I treat everybody with grace, because you here. You know, I'm going to give you the same glass. I'm going to give you the same service because you're here and you know what, hopefully you know what these plates cost and you know what to expect from the service. And I'm going to give you the same service.
Hey, Sharon, I'm about to drop down, fam. But hey, just to put a button on her point, Eda Man, to her point, she's right. So on Peter Street in Castleberry Hill, those are all Black owned establishments over there. So there is no real prejudging when they come through the door. It's pretty much the same audience. You really don't know until you get to the table. You could be servicing somebody that's from the neighborhood, or you could be serving a celebrity, or you could be serving a lawyer, a doctor, and they're all my experience is that they all dress and look the same when they come through the door. So she's right on that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Listen, when I go to Atlanta, I haven't been there a long time, but I ain't leave Little 5 Points. I just stayed right there. Shit.
I love Little Five.
Oh shit, yes. Vortex, yes.
Seven Did you go to Seven
Oh shit,
Sharon?
yeah.
I just stayed my ass there
That's
because
a
I had
grocery store where you can get your grains and like scoop it out and everything.
Yeah, because I had bought a house. I had bought a house over there and fixed it up. It was a historic house, so I had to stay over there for a pretty long time because it was a historic. So I had to deal with.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful area.
It's worth a lot now.
Yeah,
I think Atlanta is not a reflection of the country, right? Me being from there, I thought everybody did things like the South until I started going to the West Coast. Like the worst service I ever had was in California, right?
Damn, Damien.
So it's just one of those things that I think that, especially being in the South, can actually, because South have a Southern hospitality that's different from anywhere else in the world. So I think the South give you a lot more grace compared to these other places.
One thing I tell you
Everybody is sweetie.
Most of the time when I was serving LA Project, people told me that I was the greatest server they ever had in their life.
Well, that's great. I mean, for your region, it probably did work for you. I've definitely had some very, I felt like just very knowledgeable and confident servers in different settings, whether it be, Italian restaurants and, Ruth Chris or anything like that. Sometimes that attitude is appreciated. You just want to get to the point. Like, yes, take my order. I know exactly what I want. You know exactly how to describe it to me. And you're going to be efficient with it. So yeah, it can be definitely beneficial.
Yeah, that's exactly how Cali is. It's like we want the expedient experience. You don't got to be like, hey, oh my God, you so cute. What you gonna eat? We don't need all that. Always, you need to be quick and efficient and get my shit right, and we good.
Yeah, you're right. I had a bad experience like that at one point where I was in Manhattan. It was just me and my girl, and we're getting dinner, and we sat down, and I let her order. I don't order anything. She runs the menu, and we're just sitting there, and the waiter comes over and said, "Hey," and he's talking about. He looks at my watch, and he's talking about my watch, right? About what make it was, and he was like, "Oh, is that in 2015 or whatever?" And I just found that very unprofessional, right? It's like, why are you like sizing up and talking? I just sat down here. Why are you talking about like my watch and what I'm wearing, and then being really particular about it? I don't know whether he was starstruck by it, but I just thought it was very unprofessional. And me and my girlfriend, we was like, yeah, I don't know, why is he even mentioning that? I'm like, I don't know. But he did make
I think
No,
it
but
depends, because I would appreciate if I got
Yeah, I
a
think most people would.
$40,000 watch on and you
No,
know what it is.
don't mention
Like,
no.
don't mention that.
I don't know if he plotting
No,
on me.
I
I just saw a
understand
movie
why
where they
I
was
love
talking
that.
about the
I love
watch,
that.
Try to connect.
and then he called his boy to set the dude up to get the watch. Don't talk about nothing I got.
Yeah, nothing I got,
No,
none of
I
that.
think that's a personal thing, but I think
What?
in my experience with it as well, if I complimented somebody, they usually appreciate it. Like, oh, thank you. I didn't know you even knew about these sneakers or my watch or whatever it is. If you knew about it and it was something that they enjoy, most of the times I think the person will engage and appreciate it, I think.
I just thought it was unnecessary for the what the amount the bill was going to be and the reputation of that establishment with other individuals of like-mindedness and certain things. You just don't. That was just like, I don't know whether that person was new or not, but you just don't do that. You don't do that.
I think it depends. I think it depends on who you with too. Because if you was on a date with somebody for the first time and he was talking about your expensive wife, you like, yeah, I appreciate him. Like, so
I'm
I
gonna
think
get
it all
me some
depends
tonight.
on who.
Nah, man. I think he was trying to connect with you and what have you. But
Yes, he was.
The thing is just like he need at a certain point you need to read the room. If somebody say, hey, that's not watching, all you say is thank you, and you kind of go back to what you're doing. Then don't expound upon it. You don't need to be like, oh my God, is this, that, and the other? Because then it gets obnoxious. And
that's what it was. Where it felt creepy a little bit. It's like, damn, like yo, fam, like why you sizing up? You see, like my girl here, like why are we doing this? Like, how long you been working here? Like,
yeah, now you overextended.
He said that. How long you been?
All right, we've been speaking about Sir.
Hold on, one more thing, just one more thing. I think the best way for a waiter to get a tip is to interact with my kids. If my kids like you, I am tipping you. I appreciate you. Especially because my daughters, they it take a certain level for them to like you. But if you get them smiling, bringing their chocolate milk and all that stuff, you definitely get a big tip from me.
I can agree with. I can definitely agree with that. Absolutely,
definitely
yeah.
Expect a tip if there's
That's what all the women do. They always go to the kid first. Whatever. But you got to get the kids their food first. If you are a server, you get them nuggets and French fries quick, fast, in a hurry. You get those kids busy so the grown-ups can start having a conversation. You are going to get a great tip, even if the kid don't like it. As long as you can keep those kids busy away from the parents. Yeah. You did your job, and you're gonna get a good tip. I also wanted to talk about this judgment that happened in Texas. I don't know if y'all heard about this story, but over in Houston, Texas, this young man, he have locks, and so we know that the Crown Act was just passed just a couple of maybe a month ago, a couple of days ago, actually. And so this young man, he got expelled from school because he have locks, even though the Crown Act just went into effect. And so the problem with it is that What is your thoughts, first of all, on you having your own hair? So the school policy says this. The school policy was implemented before the Crown Act. So the school policy is this: that you cannot have your hair, if you're a boy, no matter what your texture is, it cannot go past your eyebrow, it cannot touch your earlobe, or it cannot touch the collar of your shirt. That is the school's policy. So now, as we can see, his hair is definitely longer than his eyebrow, his earlobe, or most likely his collar. So now, do you agree with the judge saying that the school did not go against the Crown Act and they dismissed the case? So therefore, he has to find either a new school or he has to cut his hair. Do you think that he should be forced to cut his hair?
Hell no.
What are your thoughts?
I
No,
feel the
you
judge
just
is
go
correct.
somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The judge was
Go
100%
somewhere
correct.
else.
Yeah.
So everybody
Yeah.
agree with the judge? I'm surprised everybody agree with the judge. Nice don't look like he.
I
Nice,
mean-
you agree with the
I mean-
judge too?
It's hard because I
agree
was in
with
the
judge for the
military.
same reason that Miss LA Project was saying about the restaurant. Like, I don't want to be where I'm not wanted.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is
So
like I
that's
said, the
they try to
military
make it
normalized.
I'm gonna go somewhere
like-
where they can appreciate who I am because my hair doesn't make my work ethic any better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Damien.
As long as it's clean.
Yeah, like I was saying, like the military kind of normalized like regulatory, like appearance, regulating your appearance and stuff. So it's just like it's kind of used to me, and it's just one of those things where if it was something that was enacted after this situation happened, where they just said, "Hey, we don't like that dude. Let's put a rule together where he can't have locks," then he's got a leg to stand on. But if it was kind of the thing, and you would choose to have your kid go to that school, you kind of got to abide by dress code, just like uniforms, just like no hats inside inside schools and stuff like that. You kind of got to know the game before you play it, so you're not trying to change the rules.
In his defense, he's saying that his hair was put up in a bun, as you see, it was braided.
Kids
It's
going to
it's not
school to
touching his
learn.
eyebrow.
It's
It's not
fine.
touching
Dreadlocks
his
is so
ears.
what is it? Such a violation that the kids should be expelled in a place of learning. It makes complete sense. I don't even know how that even is a discussion as a law that you can be expelled because of your hairstyle. It's not like he has a fucking Ku Klux Klan or any swastika, none of that weird shit in his fucking head. He has dreadlocks. Like, how did you come to this conclusion that dreadlocks is an expellable offense?
I don't think when they made this thing that people
that doesn't make any sense.
You know what? Hold on. They didn't make this for dreadlocks. I'm willing to bet this was probably happened in 60s, 70s where the white boys was coming with the long hair. That's what was happening, and we just get blowback from it.
Yeah,
So are you assuming or do you know this?
Can we break this down?
I went to Eagle Brook Academy in Deerfield, Massachusetts, where there was a student body of 380 students, and we had 8 black kids. And those policies were set before they even started allowing black kids in the schools. A lot of times, like a lot of them.
Well, I guess I'm torn between the two because I run a business and I understand bylaws. So the bylaws in my business is what kind of. Oh, he's talking.
He's
I
on
thought
mute.
you were talking. I'm sorry. Yeah, I said I understand bylaws. So bylaws say, for example, if a church have a bylaws that we don't marry people of the same sex, right? It's no law that can come and change their bylaws because that's part of how that company is running, right? So I understand from a legal point of view, we look at it from a legal point of view, if this was our bylaws and our regulations way before this law came into effect, you know what I'm saying? I can't force you to change your bylaws just because the world is changing. But on the flip
That's not
side,
true. That's not true.
That is true. So the reason that is true.
If the law is changed, you're gonna have to. You got to go by the state. Like you
do not. That is
now,
not
if
true.
if you take it to a federal case, then that would be different. But if your state changes a law, you got to change. You got to change your laws.
Yeah, what state is this happening in?
It's happening in Texas.
Texas. Oh, it's
Texas.
passed. So I mean, if it's passed,
it started off in California, by the way.
Yes, I see the list right here. I'm looking at it. But Texas is on that list. So if the Crown Act is passed, like in this, it looks like he's not wearing a uniform. It looks like it's a public school. I'm not sure if it is, but if that's the case, then I don't see where they can tell him that he needs to cut his hair off.
So also in the policy it says because see he was trying to. So this is my only problem I had with is that he was trying to go around the rule by having his hair up in the braids and having it in a bun. So this way it won't touch his collar. It ain't touching his ear. You see how he have it shaved on the side. So he was trying to go around the rule is a problem, but also in a policy, it says when your hair let down, it cannot go past your eyebrow, your ear, or your shoulder. So even though he has it up right now, the rule states that if we used to ask you to let your hair down and it goes past our length discrepancy, that's when I have a problem with it. And so he was trying to get around the rule is the issue that I have with it. And I think the lawyer was fucking dumb as hell. Like, I would have won this case easily, even though I disagree with the young man. I would have just went to the school, took a picture of other people, other ethnic groups with their hair longer, and that's it. You win the case. Then now you can say it's discriminatory. But if you're not going to have other people of other races with their hair longer, past their eyebrows, ears, and touching their collar, then you have no case. I don't understand why the lawyer was so dumb not to win this case.
This is
very
funny.
Specific too.
Yes, it was very specific. So it's so simple to win a discrimination case.
It's fun. The school I went to, high school I went to a long time ago was 65% Mexican, and Mexican cats used to wear their head like in a braid, like they I'd have a lot of cats with like the Tongan dudes used to wear like 2 braids, and there was this big thing about them having the 2 braids back in the day because that was the dress code for the school district that we was in. And, and most of them, nobody made a super big deal about it where they have to go to court, but they knew that they were out of dress code. But so most of them either like some of them cut them and a lot of them put them into like hats and stuff like that, or figure out a way to change it. But it's not necessarily, I don't want to make it seem like this guy was being singled out. It was something that was established prior to him joining the situation, joining the school. And I think, you kind of just got to go with where you at.
Dang.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to make it like he's being singled out. And I think it's really up to his parents before the kid enrolled in the school to know what the bylaws are of those schools, what the rules and regulations are, and discuss that with their sons. Like, hey, you know what? I know you want to grow your dreads, but unfortunately this school here has a policy, against your hair being so long. So it's either then you can give the kid the option. Obviously, he's not going to cut his hair, right? And then you, as a parent with foresight, you should already think in advance, like, okay, these are other schools here that will allow you to, to wear your hair the way that you want to be and be as free in your liberties as possible. Out of these schools, which one would you like to attend? And just go from there.
Go ahead, Otis. I know you want to jump in on this topic.
Yeah. Also, too, I'm going to try my best to articulate this because I followed this story. I followed it. If, first of all, his parents initiated and they claimed the Crown Act. So that was their defense. The Crown Act is a religious-based act to protect those who have on true religious grounds for you wearing your true crown or your hair based on religious purposes. Rastafarian, we all know that. I love to debate. I could easily take the defense side, the opposition side, which would be this. The bylaws that was founding and started. You knew that as a freshman. I'm pretty sure it's in the handbook. I'm pretty sure it's in the guidelines. You knew about the hair length. So since you knew that, you have to follow and abide by our guidelines, period. But since your parents chose to go federal with this Crown Act, now you have to prove that you were there on religious basis, and you prove that prior to you coming to that school, which I know for a fact they did not. You can go look at.
So now my pushback
by number one, looking at his freshman yearbook picture. Was his hair long then? If it was, he has a point. If his hair was within the requirements then, so therefore you opted to follow the guidelines. You can't choose at your convenience to use a religious-based Crown Act at your convenience when it's convenient for you. You have to be grounded in that since day one. And he, in my opinion, did not establish that as a freshman. That's why he lost that. And his parents used that as a defense. So that's why, in my opinion, just go to another school if you truly believe in that religious basis. Because that bylaws was already grounded and started there prior to you going to that establishment. That's how I'll try my best to articulate that. Just by the law.
So my pushback would be this. So now I'm on the other side. So we could go. We could just play on to the conversation. So my only problem was this. So how did he make it to his? How would he make it to his junior year and didn't get expelled? Why was he flying under the radar all these years, and then y'all waited until the Crown Act because he got expelled a day before the judgment actually passed and the Crown Act was put into effect. So therefore, if he was making it through all these years, the first 3 years of his schoolage, without being expelled, why did we wait until now?
Who brought up the Crown Act? It's my understanding that the parents used that as a defense. After the Crown Act, to say he has his hair that long because of the Crown Act, because of his religion. They brought that up.
I have the
also
Crown
the Crown Act is not based on religion. The Crown Act is based on your just how your hair grows out your head. It's not a religion. You should not be discriminated because you have nappier hair and you wear locks. That's what it was based on. It was based on actually for a workforce, and now the schools adopted that same Crown Act. So it was really based on people get discriminated in the corporate world because people that have locks, they kind of get discriminated against because, you know, it said it's not business attire look or whatever. And so that's what the Crown Act was based on.
So who's using it as a defense?
So the parents, so they use that as a defense, saying that, hey, my son should not get discriminated. He should not get expelled from school because he have long locks, because this is a part of our culture. So that's what the Crown Act is supposed to protect, is that this is a natural thing that is a part of our culture. So now we have to say that, yes, we know that our culture as African ancestors, we do wear locks. We do have dreadlocks. That's what we have. And so, and as long as it's neat and he's not having it wild, he should be able to wear his hair without being discriminated against.
Right. And I just want to just read it really
she
fast.
has it right there. I would like her to read it, please.
Go ahead, LA Project, please. Thank you.
All right. So the law specifically prohibits the enforcement of any grooming or dress code policies that will disproportionately affect people of color and adds natural hair as a protected characteristic associated with race as a protected class. This includes bans on certain styles like afros, braids, twists, cornrows, and dreadlocks. The consequences of breaking this law, like similar in New Jersey, are outlined in the existing law against discrimination. So at this point, it's not just about our culture, because we're still kind of honestly figuring that out. It's about our natural characteristics. You know, our hair naturally grows a certain way. Like, I come from a small town, and that's one of the reasons why I moved my kids to Atlanta, because I didn't want them to be so isolated and feel like because they were, you know, quote unquote other, that something was wrong with them. Because those, you know, the white kids can have colors in their hair and everything else, but as soon as a little black girl comes with braids with beads, that's called distracting. That's kind of nuts to me. You know, when a little, you know, white girl can have, you know, pink and blue in her hair, you know, as a elementary school kid, but the elementary school black child can't have braids and beads, you know, because it's more conducive to the, you know, just the daily routine. You know, the mom doesn't have to do the hair all the time. It's clean, it's upkept. So I don't understand really what the problem is. If that's how it naturally grows to your head, out of your head, it's just like saying, okay, well, we might as well make sure it's straightened then, just to make sure that everybody's just the same. Because as soon as we do what naturally we do, it's called distracting.
It's a great point. I also want to welcome.
She was able to read that because I wasn't 100% familiar, and Otis almost had me believing it was a religious-based thing.
Thank you for correcting me on that. Yeah, I was just about yeah.
And I think I also want to say that's the importance of not stopping somebody when they talk. Let them get their full thought and let the other person get their full thought, so we can have full understanding. It's very important to not just stop somebody because they have misinformation. We can always correct it. We have time. Let us just build on the conversation. So I appreciate y'all for allowing the beautiful build. Thank you. That was awesome.
And thank you for correcting me on that.
I also want to welcome Taz Exclusives into the conversation. What's your thoughts, Taz?
What's up, Taz?
Taz, what's up?
He might not be ready, but yeah. So that's my thing. So I think that they chose the wrong way to, because the school policy was made it clear. So I actually agree with the judge, because according to the school policy, the judge was right for ruling against the young man, because the school policy said when let down. So no matter how much you protect it and you put it up in a knot and your hair's not actually flowing down, the policy clearly says when let down, it cannot be past a certain length. And his hair clearly, if you let it down, we can all see it, that it would be past a certain length. So that's where I think he lost the argument. But when they take it to a federal level, he will win the case, because it's only a state law. So if he take it to the federal level, and then now we got to change the whole conversation back to yes, he be able to wear. So it's so interesting to have these two different situations, right? So on the state level, I agree with the judge. But we go to the federal level, I would have to agree with the young man. So I think it's interesting. So people can usually do that. But let's see what the news said about it.
Exactly here, saying that the district's policy, that being Barber Hill District outside of Houston, does not prohibit nor does it discriminate against male students who wear braids, locks, or twists, adding the Crown Act does not render unlawful those portions of Barber Hill's dress code. Those were the judge's words earlier today, just a short time ago, in fact, in the case of Daryl George, this 18-year-old high school junior who hasn't been able to sit in class with the rest of his classmates, Chris, because the district says that even though he wears his hair up in locks, if it's let down, it would violate the school's policy. And so in turn, he is now suspended. And the judge siding with the district, saying that their stance on that does not violate Texas's Crown Act, which was enacted back in September of 2023 to try and prevent race-based hair discrimination. More than 20 other states have adopted similar policies. And the family, Chris, I want to read you the.
So, yeah.
If
and the family, we've already heard from.
They going off of if. If he lets his hair down, it will be longer, but he's not going to do that. So they're going off of an if.
Yeah, so in the school policy, it says when let down. So that's the key word in the policy that makes it makes it.
Is that the rule in the NFL?
No, in the NFL, if you have hair, you can get tackled by your hair. That's the rule in the NFL.
Yeah, it becomes part of your body. Yeah.
They don't have to
So,
cut
but what I'm saying, but that's what the school policy says. It says when let down. So it doesn't matter if you have it up and it's always neat like that. If there's an action to let it down, and if it's longer than said length, then you should get expelled. That is according to that school's policy. Now, on the parent side, like we all agree, like, hey, if your policy is going against our rules and our principles as parents, I'm just not taking my kid to that school. I'm not going to be arguing with your policy. That's your policy. I'm not putting my kid in that school because I'm not going to have my kid go through this trauma of people discriminating him over goddamn his hair. And he feels like he's less than because of his hair or whatever the case he might be going through at the time. That's the only problem I really have with that is with the parents is that, like, listen, you knew what it was for the past 3 years. It just caught up with you because maybe he started his hair in a short journey in the beginning.
So would he have to would they have to move or like get zoned, like rezoned or something? Like
so right now they put him in a school where like he's like in detention pretty much.
But I'm just saying, like, so you're saying like people even in a certain like area, like range, like to go to this school, like you got to have your hair, like if you live in this, like, you know, like
yes,
goes even down to that.
Yeah, and they would probably accept. They would probably
go to school.
Yeah, LA, they would probably, accept you under those grounds, saying like, hey, I tried to apply at X, Y, and Z school, but because of these rules that they have, my kid does not qualify for that. However, my kid does qualify for being under your particular guidelines. I don't think the school would turn him down for that.
Right,
even if it's a little bit outside of the district, they wouldn't. They let him in.
That is a perfect, like depend on how you write to the school board and how you
they let him in.
to everybody, So
it's unfortunate that young man got to go through all of that just because of how he wants to keep his hair.
Like seriously, and it looks nice, and it's tucked in the bag. I don't see anything dangling.
That is very true.
Yeah, but this is not anything he's not going to face out in the real world when he starts being competitive, getting some jobs.
Exactly.
Well, he might feel like he has to though because
can I say this
now.
though? Can I say this though, y'all?
Sure.
Because I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. Y'all know this is a big deal because it's in Texas, so. They've been talking about it here on the news since it happened.
Damn.
And I gotta play devil's advocate.
You in Houston, right? That's right.
Yeah. So
are you in that school district by any chance?
Nah, he's not in Houston proper.
And so before you move on to your thoughts, so like if you're not in the school district, can you easily move your child into another school district, or is that something difficult to do?
No, that's very difficult. Especially here, this is a conservative state still for the time being. So yeah, they're gonna have to physically move. unless they can get them into a charter school or something.
So now, also my next question before you go to your point. So if you want to put your kid in another district, do you have to pay to put that kid in another district?
No, you don't.
Because in Jersey, if you want to, because that's something that's in Jersey. So if you don't want your kid in your district, you want to put them in another district, even though it's a public school, you would just have to pay the tuition for that school.
Yeah, and somebody said Houston isn't conservative. That kid is not in Houston. He's not in Houston. He's in a more rural area.
It's called Barbara Hills.
I think we just said Texas.
He's
Barbara
in
Hills.
Texas. So yeah, he's in a more rural area. And what I will say is that one day we're gonna realize that we're doing all of this for boys. Hair should not matter this much, y'all. And the for boys, and I'm not even talking. If this was a girl, and I'm very sensitive to that same thing about them trying to police the hairstyles of Black girls and Black women because their grade of hair is different.
I hope you're not serious.
So that, but when we talk about no, listen to it. What is the global standard for professional hair for men? It's short, it's low cut, right? So they do that in various different schools. And what I can remember is when I was
for white men, you mean?
Hold on. No, for men.
Because no other man don't
for
set the
Asian
standard
men,
for
for
me,
Black
bruh.
men, for the military, for men, it is short hair. And if they are going to prepare men for the workforce, like Tassim was saying, I don't see any issue with that. And one of the first time I ever ran into this issue was when I had the opportunity to go to Hampton University and their
That's why
business
these niggas
program.
be on the streets thugging, bro. You got these whole ass niggas telling these niggas to cut their hair.
You gotta
bro.
let me finish.
Are you kidding?
Though. You gotta let me finish. I know you disagree, but show some respect.
Please, Lane.
All right. So just you gotta let me finish. Hampton University does not let its male business majors have dreads or anything. They had to cut their hair. That's to prepare them for the real freaking world. So we can disagree all we want to. The world does not owe us any understanding for how we want our hair cut or styled. It doesn't. Everybody got clean cut is the world standard. It's the global standard. Locks are a hairstyle. It's not even culturally a Black thing. It's culturally a Rastafarian thing.
Wow.
It's religiously a Rastafarian thing. It's
like
just
I'm sitting here looking at my son dreadlocks, right? So what you saying is insulting, dog. Like it's somewhat, it's like we getting to the point of insulting, because if you want to run around and be somebody bitch and let somebody tell you how to wear your hair and what the standard is, then that's you. But I don't want dreadlocks. I don't like them. I don't want to wear them. But my son wearing them means that he likes them. It should be fine, and nobody should be able to mistreat him because he wears them. He shouldn't be looked at upon differently. And to make it sound like short hair is what men are supposed to wear. That's what white men wear. Why the fuck we got to wear short hair? Because they do? That's not a legit argument, bro.
I guess that was addressed to me, so let me rebut. This is where we get the bad stuff in there. I like short hair. I like my hair short. I'm a warrior. Hair will get in my way. My Kevlar helmet won't fit with dreads on my head. I'm a fucking warrior. I like short hair. So stop saying it's a white person thing. It's an Asian person thing. I like my hair short. So you're trying to isolate it out by acting like we all like. You're trying to isolate it out like we all like dreadlocks and braids. You look like a fucking girl most of the time. I don't want that shit in my hair.
You sound like one though.
You look like one. That's the worst part.
Because you're looking like men's hair. You're not. That's great, bro. I'm not trying to do that with you. I'm not trying to roast with you. I'm telling you for real.
I don't want to look like
a great. I don't.
Can we have a respectable debate?
Yeah, let's keep the topic on the topic.
Right,
you're having a great disagreement. Let's keep the disagreement on the disagreement. Go ahead, y'all.
I don't wear them. So like we would be equally in agreement in not wanting to wear the style. Where we disagree at is you're saying it like it's a bad thing. You're saying they look like girls. You're disrespecting the men over their hair, and that is some bullshit. For like, what does another man's hair have to do with you?
All right, so pause for a second, so we don't get derailed. You're right, Sharon. So we don't get derailed. Men, so this is where we have to add a little bit of nuance and clarity. It is not about the hairstyles that Black boys want to wear. It is about our misconception that other people have to accept it into their rules and systems. They do not. They don't have to accept it. You can, and then if you have the option to go somewhere else, then let that be that. We can't force our rules, standards, and styles on someone else's system. This would be a different conversation if white boys were allowed to wear dreads, if Asian boys were allowed to wear dreads, but they only want the black kid to cut their hair. Everybody got to assimilate to the same standard. So that's why I don't see the problem here.
That's
Well,
a
I
better
see a
argument.
problem.
That's much better. Go ahead, Taz.
I see a problem when we're only, because for real, the subject matter I would say is somewhat meaningless because it's someone's personal choice how they want to wear their hair. The idea that men are coming down on other men for wearing dreadlocks, that shit sounds crazy. I've never seen it as what they're doing is a problem or they look like girls or any of that. That's the new style. And because they're wearing it, the ability to attack black people based on how they wear their hair, that's fucked. And it's not new. It's like for some reason we forget the historical implications of pointing black people out about what they do with their hair. There's historical implications with that. We're not just talking about right now. We're talking about the ability to tell black people what to do while not even attempting to tell white people what to do. Not attempting to tell other groups what to do. Their hair ain't, some of them can't even wear their hair like that. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's this idea that they're the young men are wrong or they out of pocket. Like society should be able to adjust to someone wearing their hair the way they want to. I'm confused on why you're making it sound like it doesn't have to. We got to adjust all these gay ass rainbow motherfuckers. What do you mean?
So I will say you're right in the fact that no, I'm sorry. I will say I'm wrong. I'm not actually attacking anybody. I do believe that anybody should be able to wear their hair or their body any way they want to. But I do also understand that there's a trade-off for that choice. I have numerous homies with dreadlocks. That's the way they style their hair. And anytime anybody wants to come into the corporate world, or I got a young frat brother that wants to say, hey, bro, do you have a job for me? You got anything? I'm trying to upscale and he has dreads. The first thing I will tell him is, hey, bro, if you're not going to consider cutting your hair, you might have a hard time because that is a reality in the corporate world. But my homeboys that are truck drivers that own their own businesses, they could do whatever the hell they want to. All right. So you will have to adjust to come into certain industries. You will have to adjust. It's the rules of the industry. It's unfair if everybody else doesn't have to, and they're making you as a black man do it. But it's just the name of the game. If everybody has to do a low hair standard or a style fade type standard, right? We do it if we join the military, right? So we understand that some places have certain standards. That's all.
Yes, even the Yankees have a standard when it comes to their hair and their facial hair. It has to be clean shaven, has to be a certain length. So there are maybe sports organizations that has that same standard when it comes to your appearance, because your appearance represents the brand, and that's very and the reputation. So that's high up on the list.
But it shouldn't be. That's the problem. And how do we stop them from feeling that way? Like if we just bow down to them, how do we stop? Because the reality is, whether you cut your hair or not, if you're qualified to do the job, that doesn't affect how you do the job. Like we got to stop making them feel like they're right just because. And all these people y'all talking about are white people who feel like a certain look represents how we move. Nah, like it's not really correct.
Nice,
because there are pieces of shit with short hair, and there are many people with long hair that work hard and have a great.
Nice. I don't mean to cut you off, bro.
I
just want us to stop.
Draw a line
We can have this
reality
discussion.
and the perception.
Yeah. Nice. We can have this discussion without mentioning white people at all.
No, we can't.
Hold on, Taz. If you go to an African company that wheels industrial cement into their corporate entity, they want the man clean cut and clean shaven. It's just the way the world works in that sense. Listen, this is what I think it is. It's when you have a organized structure, people want a uniform worn. If you leave it open to nuance, some people might come in clean cut, other dudes might come in looking like a caveman. You have to implement a standard that you want to showcase your brand to the world. Men, traditionally, the reason why men will assimilate to this is because we don't give a fuck about hair that much. Traditionally, we don't.
So
I don't give a damn about my hair that much. I don't.
Yeah,
So
I
do
don't
you
see
think?
like, bro, I don't know.
I got you, LA. I got you.
Barbershops have been around in the black community for over a century. How do we not care about our hair? Niggas running around with braids,
I was
waves,
just
all
about
these
to ask you,
different
do he keep
hairstyles that
barbers?
men have worn over the years. You trying to sell me that men don't care about their hair? For real?
So I think you took what I said out of context.
I'm not.
We
Fades,
care
flat
about
tops, all that shit,
we
bro.
care about looking good. What I mean is that if I'm being told that in the military I have to wear a fade or I have to my corners and the back of my head has to be tapered, but I like wearing a full Caesar, I'm not gonna be like, nah, man, take me to captain's mast, bro. I ain't wearing no damn fade or no
This
tape.
why the white man keep coming into play, bro. Because every time you try to tell me like your understanding, it go back to what some white man dictates for you to be the understanding, bro.
I'm
You're not
talking
telling
about
me shit that don't
what
include some white man structure.
I'm
So if you got
talking
to take
about
your ass to
something,
some white man building, you got to take
bruh.
your ass to some white man's position. You got to be up underneath some white man, and he gets to tell you what to do. Okay, I understand that you his bitch. But when we
All right,
talking to these young men who ain't the white man's bitch, your argument ain't gonna work, nigga. These young men ain't trying to hear that weak ass argument about their hair. They can wear their hair how they want to, and if society has such an issue with their hair, then they need to go and contest that shit. They need to fight to be able to wear their hair the way the fuck they want to. I don't get you, bruh. This shit is weird.
All right, that's dope. That's dope.
Hey,
So
hey,
two points.
okay,
Two points. We live in America. There are white people here. Okay, and whenever I make a point, it's to what everybody can understand. We don't live in Africa. We don't live in a place where there's just one predominant culture. There are multiple cultures here. Everything we talk about is going to include black men, white men, Asian men, Hispanic men, etc. All right. So we can stop with the attacks. We can stop with it. The part that I don't understand. No. Hold on.
White people are
I
over
let you talk
70%.
uninterrupted.
Wouldn't you say that is a large majority?
I let you talk uninterrupted.
You ain't got
what I'm saying is you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. If you going into somebody else's job, because you probably work a job, you have the right to say, I ain't doing that shit. I fucking quit. But they don't have to change their standards for you. If my own business that I have today, where I hire instructors, if I am putting on a symposium, if I am putting on a lecture, and I'm getting to pick the people, I'm telling the motherfuckers how they should dress, business casual, clean cut, and clean shaven. And that's the way I want my brand represented. This ain't got shit to do with white people. I'm an elitist. I want my people looking like they got some goddamn sense, not coming in with their beards, wild hair showing and shit. This is not a white thing.
I also want to work in. I want to work in one of the beautiful flight attendants of the channel, LA Project. Please allow her to get some space to get her voice in as well, because we build this plane as we fly. So yes, she is a beautiful flight attendant. Go ahead, LA Project. I also want to get Otis in there as well.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, yeah. No, that's what I was gonna say. I'm just like, okay, with the booming of all these beards, I was like, how is clean shaven? What are you talking about? Like, how would that be if the standard was for every man to come with cut their beards off? You know what I mean, or whatever. Like, where does it stop? I don't understand. There's still not really like a reason why. I mean, maybe that's just like your vision of what it should be, and that's perfectly fine. But at the same time, like, when it comes to the facial hair and all that, because that's definitely a trend. I see. No. I see the beards. I mean, they come definitely down to almost to their shirts. Yeah, they're huge. So I mean, but when it comes to showing diversity and representation, of course, a nice, clean, dreadlock man with maybe braided to the back, but he has a high position that makes the company look good. But there's other reasons that people get discriminated against, when it comes to corporate, but I kind of feel where Taz is coming from, because it's all kind of going back to like the whole white standard, like my mom worked with a very, very intelligent, he was a commissioner for the IRS, but he, was from deep South Louisiana and had this really deep accent, and they leaned on each other because of the different things that they had to go through because of that.
And I want to get Otis in there, and I want to get Kasim, somebody that is also well versed in the corporate world as well, so he can give us some great insight on this. So we go Otis and we go Kasim. Let's go. I love this build. This is a great build right here.
I'm going to definitely keep it short. I'm going to try to land the plane real quick. I definitely feel what Trigger Man was saying, and I definitely feel what Taz was saying. I definitely want to gear this statement towards Taz. I understand your plight, and I get it. My response to that, to help you out, would be this. My question would be at the same time, within that particular school district, I'm gonna tie it into that, to the story. I'm pretty sure there's a school board, and I'm pretty sure there's some type of election what's going on. I guarantee you, I can almost guarantee you that we, when I say we of color, we're not on that school board where we can make up and govern the bylaws to change that hair policy. I got to always bring it home. This country is based on black and white laws, bylaws, codes, statutes. That's the way it is. In order to tell somebody to kiss your ass, you got to do that in black and white, in their legalese, by being on their school board. The most smallest political standard there is a PTA and school board, and that's where it starts. So if we as a people don't like their hair policy and their bylaws, we got to start on the school board. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's where it starts, right there. Other than that, I don't like abiding by anyone's rule. I'm going to go somewhere else if I really believe in that. Unless, again, we all can agree on this. If the quote unquote white or another ethnicity grow their hair, then I have the right to grow mine. But on black and white, it was stated already. To change that, we got to get on a board, our numbers, and let's try to change that. Other than that, unfortunately, please don't take this the wrong way. It's a lot of emotion and a lot of lip service. That gets nothing done. Black and white, small legislatures gets things done. That small start right there, PTA and the board. It could be done, but that's where it starts. My plan is landed.
Go ahead, Kasim.
I think it really starts to, or looks at the base of how we are as people and how we are as humans, right? We all want to exercise our own personal liberties to the best that we can, and we're going to push those boundaries in order to get exactly what we're looking for, right? And then when we come out of that and we start to form our own entities, our own corporations, our own ways of working, in order for us to have a really good way of success, we got to have structures, standards, and principles in that. And within those particular guidelines, when you're having a company, the first thing you want to look at is you want to look at what type of image you want to have. What does that image say about you? What does it say about the company's values, morals, and principles? And all of those things have to line up by word, act, deed, and appearance. And once individuals kind of form that, then they let that be out. And individuals that want to come into this particular group that they happen to favor has to kind of conform underneath those standards and regulations. And that's just, the way it is. And people want their liberties. They want to be as free as possible. But however, that freedom has to be contained. And the best way for you to express your liberties would be to go off and form your own coalition, your own corporation, and your own thing. And then you can set your standards how you want them to be, and then find like-minded, talented individuals that are willing to go underneath your umbrella. And that's just the basic premise of it.
Awesome. I also want to welcome Next Level moving forward, since he is somebody on the panel that actually has locks in present time. I would love to hear his thoughts on it. Go ahead, Next Level moving forward.
First off, I want to give a shout out to the panel. Shout out to you, Sharon, you know what I'm saying? But I want to, if Trigger Mike's still here, I want to say he kind of being a bit disingenuous, if you ask me, because if his hair is the appearance of his profile picture, that's not a clean-cut image. That wasn't accepted years ago, like in the corporate world. I think we're living more in a, I hate to use this word, quote unquote, woke society, to where like tattoos are being more accepted, like all different hairstyles and everything. But it, to the case in point where we were speaking on, if establishments or schools or corporations have things established already, like rules, I mean, you got to follow those rules. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody should be discredited about their hair, though. I mean, That's just my opinion though. But
But
I don't think that's a clean cut image like what Trigger Mike was saying that he have in his profile picture with
So
a
this
little
is
mini
essentially
fro
a
with the
yeah.
curls and a little part and all that. That's not
This
a
is a AI. This is an AI image.
okay.
But
I didn't know. That's
I
all I'm
have like
asking.
a equivalent of like a flat top fade. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's faded in the back. So
And a
no
beard.
smoke, no smoke. Yeah, no smoke. But let me give some light to what LA said because, and a little bit to what Otis said because I got to run out real quick. Black men should actually grow beards. That's something that we've had to fight for in the military, the way they have to give us no shave shits.
You got to be fucking kidding me, bro.
All right, man. You got to show some respect, bro. You got to show some respect.
Nigga, fuck you. You
All
don't
right.
respect niggas with dreads.
All right. Just show some respect. So, because what we realize is shaving for black men is actually unhealthy. If you shave too low, your hair will curl back into itself because we have a different grade of hair. So, keeping a very lined beard is healthy for black men's skin. Black men should not be shaving with straight razors every day like any other man on earth does. It's unhealthy for your skin. All right. So that is one thing that I would love to see in corporations where black men are the head. You're saying stop making people shave. Stop making black men shave their beard. It's not good for their skin. All right. So that is something that we could, like Otis said, bring that awareness into the school board, letting them know our grade of hair is different, getting people to shed that, give the education on why black people's hair needs to be treated a little bit different than everybody else. And that's just one example. So black men growing beards is actually better for their skin. And I will give credence to what LA Project said about that, but I'm out, y'all.
So look, just before, well, you can go. Listen, man.
Hey, I appreciate
one of the biggest issues that we have right now. Young niggas don't respect older niggas, right? And there's no way to bridge that gap if you got a bunch of hoe ass niggas that won't stand for them. These young niggas see y'all. Like you telling these young niggas to cut their hair to be a bitch like you, bruh.
A bitch with money.
When we gonna
correct
ever
yourself.
when
rich
can
bitch.
they shine, bruh?
I'm a rich bitch. First off,
I don't give a fuck about your money, nigga. I ain't no motherfucker. You think I'm a woman or some shit? You want to get robbed, nigga?
You're a black nigga. All you care about is money. You black.
You
all
niggas
you care about is money.
hoes. What you trying to impress me, nigga? That's your problem now. Worried about somebody's hair. Talking about how much fucking money you got. That's why these young niggas ain't gonna respect no. You ain't built shit for these niggas, but you talking about how much money you got.
You don't know what I built,
for these
nigga.
young niggas then and quit trying to dictate how they wear their motherfucking hair.
You don't know what I built.
I don't care what you build. Build something. Build a fucking beauty school. So that way you can quit whining about what black boys doing with their hair, nigga. Otherwise, you just some corporate nigga that go and do what the white man tell you and then bring your weak ass out here and think you can tell these young niggas some shit. They'll never respect a nigga like you, bruh.
They already do. How?
Where?
Okay. Niggas don't respect me. Black people respect me.
I bet you that's true. Which is why you don't mind seeing some niggas get cut off because they want to wear their hair a certain way. All
niggas
black people the same to me, bro. I don't make no distinction between black people. If I did, I damn sure wouldn't call your weak ass black pussy.
You a nigga.
I don't make no distinction between black people. If I did, why the fuck would we be rocking with your soft ass? You ain't even willing to stand up for the young niggas with the dreads.
Come figure out why they call me Trigger Mike if you so hard. Come on.
I don't care.
You care.
Like, I mean, what's wrong with you niggas? I ain't interested in you, bro. I'm interested in your argument, but fuck you too.
Come figure out why they call me Trigger Mike. Holla at me.
You niggas weird, bro.
Holla at me. I'm out.
Let's stick to the topic and the argument. Let's not
this nigga
make
said
it
come
past
find
that.
out why they call him Trigger Mike. Like niggas, like niggas don't die with the shit on them, man. Shut your pussy ass the fuck up, nigga. You act like you locked up for doing a nigga some shit.
All right.
Trigger practice, Mike. Nigga, you be in the motherfucking practice, nigga, shooting at a target, nigga. Ain't no motherfucking target, nigga. Come find me, Trigger Mike. Other than that, shut the fuck up, nigga.
All right.
That fake ass tough guy shit, nigga.
He left. Sheesh. Oh man.
Come and
No,
find me. This is why they call me Trigger Mike. The fuck? Nah, bro, for real though, man. Who gonna stand up for these young niggas? Because these young niggas keep hearing black men stand down. It ain't like the generations of the past where you seen niggas stand up and stand for something. All we hear now is assimilate, be good, don't be a bad black man, be a good boy. That's all niggas hear now. So at some point, these young niggas ain't gonna never respect us because all we tell them to do is kiss ass and bow down. I'm not saying you gotta be no criminal, no bad guy, no none of that shit. But goddamn, niggas can't even wear their hair. Like, and then you mean to tell me you ain't willing to stand with them niggas? Come on, bro, that's weak. That's weak as fuck.
Especially when they
I
make
also want to
laws.
also want to bring in another beautiful flight attendant into the conversation. The beautiful and always articulate PH Diva.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
So I just kind of tuned in time to see the interaction between Trigger Mike and Kaz, and I think what that was an illustration of is like a cultural difference, right? So we know Trigger Mike is from a different country, and what we have to
I didn't
understand.
know that.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry, Diva. How you doing? I didn't know that.
Well, his parents are from Nigeria. And so we have to understand that there's a very different mindset, right? So there's a culture of acquiescence, right? And so we can even see that in the fact that, you know, the things weren't right in their own country, and rather than fighting to make it right, they acquiesced and went to another country. Whereas for us as Black Americans, we're known around the globe as being like freedom fighters, right? So everybody looks at us that's why they're trying to drag us into this Israel-Palestine, you know, conflict. They want us to speak on it or, you know, choose a side. And it's because like around the globe, we're known as the people who, you know, have fought for freedom. And so I think it's just a very different mindset. You know, do you give in or do you, you know, actively fight against it? And, you know, when we're fighting against these things, we have to understand like the first few people probably gonna take L's, but those are the people who like make progress for everyone else, right? Yep. And so, you know, it takes all types. People can have whatever mindset they want, but I think it's just important to understand where people are coming from and why they think the way they do. And so that's what I saw in that interaction.
That was huge.
Yeah, that's
I didn't know
a great
he
point.
wasn't.
I also want to bring somebody else into the conversation, Omni, etc., as somebody else as well that has that hairstyle that which we are talking about. And please speak to your experience or to the storyline that we was talking to. Go ahead, Omni. What's your thoughts?
I see it both ways. I see it both ways. So I understand that the human mind judges first based on appearance. I understand that wholeheartedly. But at the core of me, anybody that has influence over my life to the point where they can tell me what to dress, what to do, what to wear, is bullshit to me. It's bullshit to me. It always has been. I got one life to live, and I'm gonna live it the way that I see fit. Nobody else is going to tell me how to live my life.
That's a great point. I also want to talk to the fact that he said that us men, we're gonna get razor bumps just because we shave. That is not true. You just can't use a triple razor. So you actually have to use a straight razor because you don't want your hair to go cut below the skin. You want your hair to be cut right at the skin. So therefore, it won't have an ingrown hair and curl inside of your face. So if you use a straight razor, it will cut level to your face, and therefore it will grow without creating bumps. Kasim could probably attest to that. Otis looks like he shaves as well.
That's the difference in the bald heads too.
Bald head. Well, bald head thing is a little different. Most people they can grow their hair back. So, but
yeah, that's gonna be based on your individual skin,
and that's also your individual skin too. Go ahead, next level.
What he was kind of speaking of, when you have like the texture of 4C hair, it kind of have the tendency to curl back. And what a lot of people don't know is the proper way of shaving. Just
yes.
like what you were saying, like people gotta learn and know their hair to learn how to shave, which angles and to go with the grain, against the grain. Just like what you were just saying, but a lot of people don't know that, you know.
Right, because I'm one of the people with that coarse hair, as you can see. Like I do not have straight hair, and I was shaved for the past year and a half. I had a clean face for a year and a half. So you definitely.
But a lot of men do get ingrown hairs by like not using a straight razor properly.
Correct.
Though. A lot of people do get that.
And the straight razor is dangerous. It's very sharp. So you also got to be wary of that too. It takes some time. You're not going to get it the first time. You're going to cut yourself a couple of times. It's just what it is. And you can get past it. But I do also want to talk to, I did shave my hair so I could be a little bit more palpable to the corporate world. And it is a thing. We do intimidate by the way how we look and talk and dress. It's bad enough that I was I'm very straightforward the way how I speak.
But you ain't shitting on nobody for not doing it, Sharon. That's where the issue comes in.
That's where the issue comes.
I don't take issue with men how they wear their hair, bro. But I think if you're gonna start talking down on black men for how they wear their hair, that's too much, bro. God damn, like, they can't even wear his hair. And we most of the time, I think we talk about the youngsters. You know what I'm saying? Because I get it. You know what I'm saying? The little Chief Keef niggas and what they be doing and shit. But correct. I just don't like that judgmental shit. My son don't do none of that shit, bro. He like the style, bro. And a lot of young people wearing that style now. So if anything, we should be pushing for the corporate world to accept that the same way they accept fucking grown men wearing lipstick in the building now. It was a time when that wasn't cool. Fact. But niggas don't want to stand for shit. And that's my issue, bro. That's it. I wasn't trying to start shit.
I think that is a great point that we stand together more and say, however, we also got to have people that are on that side, because I had locks at one point as well. I don't believe I got treated differently because I had locks. I don't believe so. Nobody, I don't have no proof that they did it, right? I can't say, hey, when I had my locks, this person treated me like this, and versus when I cut my hair, it was clean shaven, that they treated me like this. I have no proof of it. However, we have to get together and have all the men that's like Kasim, right? That has that same temperament, but he has locks, to be out in the forefront. Those are got to be the men that is pushing it and saying like, no, our hair do not determine our style. Yes, we have Chief Keefs, but also we have me. My name is Preston, and I have locks, and I don't do the same thing as what Chief Keef does. So my hair cannot determine what you are going to decide if I'm good for your culture or not. You got to go by the individual, because there's other individuals that are white that have tattoos, they in biking gangs, and they got other ones that are cops. So we got to go by the individual, and we got to turn it into an individual. But we need those men that are moving in a certain direction. All these good men that are considered good, whatever that perception is, to be in the forefront of the argument.
Can I pose a question real
quick?
Yes,
you could pose a question, and Kasim, you are on mute.
Why was there never a problem when for the white guy when he was wearing long hair, or the Hispanic guys when they wear long hair, Native Americans, but now it's an uprise of a lot of young black males like growing their hair, and a lot of them are not doing it for the Chief Keef stuff. A lot of them doing it to be almost in touch with their roots, or in touch with spiritual reasons and stuff. Like, a lot of them are not just the Chief Keefs. But why is there so much of a negative connotation for young black males growing their hair?
Well, because it was the main reason is because our hair is a form of defiance. Even when we had the afro, that was also a sign of defiance and saying we are staying together as a people. We all have our afro. Those are the ones with the fists up in the air, is a sign of defiance. And also when the locks was actually created way back, it was a warrior situation. So that's why it's called dreadlocks. You know what I'm saying? So it is a warrior type of situation, and people do not want to own it. That's why we need men that are like, if Taz had locks, that he's able to articulate himself and say, this is why we cannot discriminate it, right? People will be able to understand that. The problem is we got too much division, and we got some men that just want to acquiesce just to acquiesce because they just don't want a hard time. But then we got the other side that are professionals. They have locks and they keep it neat. They not standing up about it and saying, hey, listen, I got other young men that can move like me, even though with the locks, it doesn't take away the fact that he could do the job.
Yeah, but this is the thing, Sharon. On Thursday, I was interviewing with a brother, and he had dreads, right? And I was one of the middle people in the gateway chain, and I just told him flat out. I said, "Listen, fam," I said, you have the qualifications, and you have the skills. I said, but for black man to black man, you gotta, because the next person that you're going to meet is going to have a higher standard. So I recommend that you use clean up a little bit. You know, go get your dreads done really nicely, have them really nice and neat, right? Because this person is really going to look at you and see how well you fit into the company culture, right? And I want you to be as successful as possible. He was like, you know what, fam, I appreciate that. So then this weekend he went out. He got his braids done. He sent me a picture, and I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So he just had an interview this morning at 9 a.m. and at 10:30 before I came on here, he got to go. So the vice president is going to go ahead and hire him to be in this marketing department, and he's going to be the first black person that has dreads in this particular marketing department. Right. So it really helps for us individuals that know exactly what the company is looking for and guide our men to them to give the best possible chances, because you can be as smart as the world, but if someone perceives you as a threat and your image is not aligning, it's going to be hard for them to get over that. So I think it's important for us as black men to help guide other black men, to help them be as natural as they can, but just to keep it under some type of control so they can get the best benefits.
Right. So I
I'll
think
tell you
that's
what's
very
significant in
important.
that.
Go ahead, Ami.
I just wanted to say something that was very significant in what Kasim said. He gave the young man advice, in effect becoming a mentor to that young man about his appearance. And in response, the young man and took his advice, not only took his advice, but looked to Kasim in such a way that after he got his hair done, he sent him a picture. It's like, is this what you're talking about? Is this what you was going for? And then Kasim, that relationship is what's missing. Something as simple. It seems small. It really seems small. But that relationship between the OGs and the younger black men, that's what's missing.
Because I'm gonna see him in the departments. I'm gonna be seeing him and working with him in the departments, and that's a reflection. That's a reflection on my character and my principles, right? Like Kasim, you gave this guy the green light. So now since you gave him the green light, that's a reflection on you. And I want to make sure it's a win-win for both of us, man.
Yeah,
Well, so my
I think it's very important that we have both sides. The problem is what Taz is saying is that, like, cool, I understand what you're saying. I don't give a fuck about the hairstyle. Taz is saying, however, he cared about the fight for young men. So, like, hey, young man, if you going to wear your hair, this is the honest truth about it. This is how if you want to get into that corporate world, you're gonna have to pay the cost, because now you're gonna have to keep your hair retwisted at all times. Like, you can't have that fuzzy look, and because it looks good as well, it's neat, it's clean, and all that. However, if you want to be in this corporate world, it needs to look a certain way, and they got to stay that way. So it's going to cost you a lot more money to upkeep your locks
to maintain it. Yeah.
But I only hear.
I also want to get PhD, because I believe PhD. But do you have locks as well?
Actually, I just finished getting them taken out last night. But yeah, I had sister locks for several years. But so I think, so it's wonderful to, give that brother the game. But I think as the person inside their organization, Kasim also need to be doing some work inside that organization to change those types of things, so that when people who look different do come in the door, they can look at their qualifications and ignore all that external irrelevant shit, right? And so there's work to be done within that organization as well.
Yeah, that's what Taz was pretty much talking to. Is like,
but I think PhD, but to your point, it really gets down to an individual level, right? Because I'm a black man and I live in society, I know the things that we go through as men, and you have to be acutely aware to that and to understand that. Listen, I know this person's going to have some crossroads. I know this person's going to have some headwinds going in the game, and I want to give him the best possible opportunity to get ahead. And me being on the inside, knowing exactly what they're looking for, what qualities and attributes they're looking for, I'm going to give him the cheat code so that he can have a better outcome, so there can be more of us in there. Because I've already said this plenty of times through the meetings with some of my senior partners. Like, look, I need more like representation. So that's why I try to do my best to get individuals that are qualified, first of all, to do the position, but then get them in line in what the company expectations are if they want to be a part of it. And so far, I've been really good at that.
No. I totally agree. What I was saying was not an either or proposition. I was saying and.
Mm.
So do that and, there's some work that needs to be done inside the organization so that they are able to just look at people's qualifications and not judge people on irrelevant information, such as how they look.
Let me ask you this, Kasim.
What's up?
Because when I hear this, is it mostly about like the locks itself and the hair texture, or is it just mainly about having hair itself? Because I only hear people go at people like with the locks or people with real coarse hair, like real, 4C type of hair.
It's really about how it's styled, right? And the neatness of it, right? And like you for example, your hairstyle, you could I think that they would look past that. Right, but you really have no, but again, they would look past, but you really have to know what you're talking about, right? Because image, it does matter. It is a reflection on the company's values and things like that, and they know the clients that they're going to be dealing with, right? And they know the mindset of those clients, so they don't want to put you in front of someone who's a client that's not going to be feeling you and not taking you seriously, right? Because then that can be a reflection on the brand, and that person can write a review and blah 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 blah. So they're going to do the best thing they're going to do the best thing as possible to make sure they have a competent person in there, and that they can work on the look a little bit to make it more palatable and successful for not only the client but also for you, because you want to make money, you want to make commissions and things like that, and you want to have the best chance possible and moving up and doing things. So it's got to be a little give and take between the what the company wants and what the client is looking for when it comes to certain money and stuff like that.
And also,
I was kind of speaking kind of past like corporate field, just because locks itself just has a negative connotation just on some people, just they view of it. Just mine is just work. Some people wouldn't even approach someone.
But
like
but this is the thing though. They attach the look of the dreads with the character and the behavior of the individual. That's where the main thing. That's where the main clause kind of go up. Like, yes, you can have a big persona, but if your demeanor, your deportment is otherwise, you're going to be more acceptable to that. So it's the same thing with like hoodies, right? And things like that. People don't like people wear hoodies because they associate a certain characteristic based upon what they've experienced and what correlates to that hoodie, right? So I think that can be mitigated by just making sure you're the best person that you can be, making sure that you're respectful to individuals, your demeanor is open and approachable, and we can slowly break down that wall of stereotypes.
And I also want to get Trigger Mike in, and then after that, I want to read the super chats. Go ahead, Trigger Mike.
So can y'all hear me? I'm in a car now.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so I wanted to add to what somebody was saying when they said it's the look, and it feels like it's dreads and braids. And what I realized is while PH Diva was talking, it's because people don't understand. When we say that the other people have to do the work to understand, I don't think they want to understand. Because, like, let's use education, higher education, as an example. Like, what's his name? Damn, bro was talking about earlier. Even if I did have a full-on blown-out fro, I can thank Dr. Cornel West and Neil deGrasse Tyson as intellectuals in academics for allowing me to wear a fro. Nobody's going to trip over that fro in academics because the smartest people in the building were black and they had fros. But people don't want to do the work to understand dreads and braids, and that's the problem. I understand it. I look at black men with dreads all day long, and I do not think they're hood niggas. I don't think anything, but the biases of other people. And the question I want to pose to the panel is, do you think most people conform? Because what I think most people are doing is, can you change the world's prejudice about you before their prejudice affects you? And I think that's why most people conform to what the world is asking for. Even though you want to change that shit, that prejudice will probably affect you before you can change it.
So that's
I yield the floor. Go ahead.
I think it just takes time. Like it's just what like Piers even said. The people that's going to stand up for it, they're going to get the brunt. They're going to get their ass whooped. They're going to get their ass kicked. But later on down the line, if we fight hard enough and say no, you need to keep it to the individual. That yes, we can absolutely do it. And I think Nice want to jump in there. I just want to read. I want to get into the super.
About to be a situation.
Shout out to Hink in the basement. He said, congrats to Florida for the 75 men she sexually conquered, 75 bodies and counting. Wow. Okay. That was pretty brutal.
Damn it.
Oh, God. Brownsville, New York. Samson had locks, which it gave him power. Yeshua had locks also. The idea that locks aren't clean cut is absolutely a discriminatory practice based upon the European white male power structure. Ooh, that hurts. Shout out to the super mayor. Locks were a spiritual as well visual representation of defiance to colonizers. Rastafarians were beaten, jailed, and involuntarily had their locks out. So it gets a little deeper than just Chief Keef and thugs, right? So Sinsta, what YouTube community guidelines did I break to get timed out, Sin 7? That's why I stopped coming before. God damn it. No timing out people just for voicing their opinions. Please don't voice, we over here, we like to have people's difference of opinion. Go ahead, Nice.
I just wanted to say to Trigger Mike, I hear what you're saying now, and I hear you saying you got people around you with dreads and you don't look at them no type of way, but you was just calling it feminine. So it's hard for me to believe that. And the problem is when people that look like us talk down and talk negative about the dreads, it gives the white people that don't like it confirmation. It make them feel validated about the way they think.
All right, so I can
get somebody educated and well accomplished at a high level with dreads because we're tearing them down just as fast as the white people tearing them down.
Damn.
Understood. Can I respond to that?
Especially when you say they like when you comparing them to girls and stuff, that's out of line, like right there.
But then so he don't look at them no differently.
That don't matter.
So hold on. Let me respond to that. So when I said I don't look at them no differently, I meant as a threat. I'm talking about crime and the way the world looks at black men as dangerous because they have a certain hairstyle. The reason why I said I used the feminine, I think I even said I was wrong for that. I shouldn't have judged. But what I do think the cultural black American long hair thing came from, I used to find it weird when I was in high school and middle school and high school that so many boys were sitting in between women's legs to get their hair done. I do think that is a byproduct of single motherhood. I do think that's a byproduct. Boys in Compton have barrettes in their hair, bro. I do think that's where that shit comes from. So I'm standing on that.
No, that's not where it comes from.
Nigga, what?
So there for a very long time in
weird.
Black American culture, like where a lot of cultures will cut a boy's hair at one. In our culture, we didn't do that. We would braid their hair and they grew it out until they was old enough to they themselves say, "I want my hair cut." Right. And so, no, it doesn't come from fatherless homes, and it's not feminine or anything like that. It's just a part of our culture, which differs from your culture.
PhD, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the styling of boys' hair, not the growing out of boys' hair. Those are two different things.
They would get them braided. I just said like cornrows. Men have always worn cornrows.
No, what men? Black men have not always worn cornrows.
Yes, they have.
Yes, they have.
I need it. Historically, you talking about from 1900s and all that shit? You talk about historically, black men wore braids?
It's the reason why, hold on, it's the reason why they called it cornrows in the first place.
Right, yeah.
Because the farmers of that time, they was getting their hair like the corn. The cornrow. That's where it gets the name from.
If you want to get deep in history,
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that people also miss as well. Like, why nobody say anything about the Vikings? Why nobody say nothing about the Vikings braiding their hair? They are big on braiding hair. They have long hair and it gets braided. They even braid their damn beard.
I'm about to say they even braid their beard.
So why we only acting like because we have long? Even though when I did have my locks, I did get upset at myself one time when I did like this. I was like, the hell? I was like, did I just do that? I was mad at myself for doing that. However, braids been a part of males cultures for many of years. A lot of fighters, because I know Trick Mike also said with the helmet thing, a lot of those Vikings, they had helmets, and guess what? They braided their hair. It was a sign of being a warrior a lot of the times. Most of the warriors had long hair and had their hairs braids.
Samoans been braiding their hair for years. Like, I mean,
the feminine part is crazy.
Even though, can I jump in here, Sharon?
It is wild to say it though. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I see, like this is a very nuanced conversation and very nuanced topic, because I really feel what Taz was saying about, you know, standing up for young brothers trying to be able to wear the hair they want. But I also understand what Trigger Mike was saying, because if you take that route, you need to understand what comes with that. Once you walk out of your community, it's a different world out there that Black people aren't running. So you need to know that there's going to be certain times. So let me finish. There's going to be certain times that you will have to show a higher level of exceptionalism. You have to show that somebody may look at you for that and say, okay, I've already pegged this person, and you're going to have a harder time trying to figure out how to overcome that initial roadblock that may keep you from going someplace. That's all I'm saying, especially if it's a standard where that's outside of the norm of the place that where you're trying to go. If you're trying to go into an office building that, like, you get a job as an accountant, as an whatever, and it's an office building where everybody is white, they're going to peg you. So you're going to have to show you're going to have to show exceptionalism just to get the same level of respect off of that, because of you walking in with a bias against you.
This is where
let me finish the statement. I know, but so what I think Trigger Mike was trying to say is, yes, the path of least resistance is to acquiesce to the standard. But if you choose to stand on principle and know this is a part of my culture, this is a part of my hand, you need to know that you're going to be facing some degree of bias in some point if you're going to be dealing with people outside of the community who understands the relevance of locks and braids and stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, it's wrong or it's bad, or I'm not getting to the feminine part. I'm just saying, just understand that you're setting yourself to where you have to work a little bit harder to get the same stuff.
So as Black people, we have to do that anyway, though. So you're never going to be saved. A low cut doesn't save you from that.
Bro, I'm 6'3" with a scar on my face. People think I've been to prison. I went to college. I was a victim of a crime. But because I got this scar on my face, I have to work that much harder.
But that wasn't a choice. That wasn't a choice to get the scar on your face.
But I'm saying, as a Black man, no matter what it is, if I don't look like the people in this office, I have to work harder to be accepted in this office.
And I agree.
But there are certain things that you can do to lower or to minimize the amount of arrows you're getting shot at you, right? Yes, we do understand, because of this Black skin, there are certain things that we're going to have against us intrinsically. But there are other mitigating circumstances that we can control to stop how many arrows come at us, right? Our appearance is one thing that we can control, right, to stop the most of the adversity coming towards us, fam.
So
it doesn't work like that, though. We just saw Taraji P. Henson, and Monique talks about how, people said Monique didn't get any traction. Yes, it is. Shut up. Monique talked about how she didn't get any traction on her complaint about low pay because people didn't like her attitude. Okay, Taraji told her she was gonna do it the right way. She did it the right way. The end result was the same, right? None of that stuff saves you. If these people gonna look at you and judge you and treat you some type of way based on something as frivolous as your hair, then your skin color is going to get you the same result, right? Everything about you being Black people, a Black person, is going to get you the same result. So you cannot save yourself by trying to conform. You'll twist yourself into a pretzel and you'll still end up in the same situation. Can I finish my sentence? Thank you.
And also, before Trigger Mike go, also I want to say is this, so it also goes to, Taz made a great point by saying that at one point men wearing lipstick and dresses was not okay. And now if that same man walk inside a building, nobody's gonna look at him and say, oh, we cannot give you a job. They're gonna be like, oh, he's so brave. They're gonna actually give him an award for being one of the greatest women of all time. Of the year, they're gonna get a Woman of the Year award.
Sharon,
So
that's
if you don't acquiesce and you just prove that men that wear the locks, like I was saying before, like if men that are doing the righteous thing and that have the locks, and we have a representation of them doing great things, then it would change the ideology. And also, I believe Trigger Mike, you kind of acquiesce to that, saying that Neil deGrasse and Carl, what's his name?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
And the guy that always wear the black and white suit that's running for president. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot his name.
Cornell West. Cornell West.
Right. So the afro is conceived that it's okay. So you already acquiesce to the fact that if we was to stand together with our young men, they would be more susceptible to our
Cornel West had his afro in a time where afros were accepted. He had his afro since the 70s, where brothers had afros, and it was just a normal part of society to see a brother in afros, and there was no real judgment by that for the most part. And Neil deGrasse Tyson has like a low, like a Lamont Sanford. His hair ain't that.
But regardless of what Trigger Mike was saying, that it's uncouth. Like they both are pretty much uncouth. Like Cornell don't even shape up his hair or his face. And
they don't shake that shit up at all.
Yeah, and Tyson as well. He don't really have no kind of haircut. He's not shaped up or nothing. And we always got to acquiesce, shape up, this, that, clean cut, this, that, smell good, chest up. And so we can push the needle forward if we was to stick together with our young men. And this is why our young men are pushing against the old heads. This is why Sway always push against the old heads, because they are not backing the young men that is going to be the next forefront, the ones that's going to be at front. And that's the issue that we having with the age.
Yeah, you have more.
Let me say this. Go ahead, fam.
I actually just want.
Let me say this.
It seemed the gentleman said about the afros in the 70s, they could go into the workplace and nobody looked at. Yeah, that was a hairstyle that was that represented defiance. It represented, so no, they weren't walking up into corporate workplaces with afros and the white people was just saying, oh, okay, welcome, have a seat, so they feared that hairstyle during that time. And so it hasn't largely been accepted in workplaces.
I like that you use
the
word fear.
Yeah, my dad.
So let me add to this.
I just wanted.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we get. Go ahead. We're gonna go Trigger Mike, then we go Omni. Go ahead, Trigger.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what listening to everybody, one of the things that I do also want to mention is that it seems like we're making a lot of the cases that Black people need to employ themselves, because every time we were speaking, we're talking about changing, basically asking somebody to do something for Black people, and that's probably a large part of the problem. The largest employer of Asians is Asian people, right? So they're going to be 100% fully accepting of whatever the hell Black people got going on. A Black-owned business owner will 100% accept any cultural Black hairstyle. So it also comes back to Black ownership every single time. The person who's going to accept you the most is another Black person. So this is just another case for Black business.
So the problem
I yield my time.
Problem is that like all these corporate places, they will accept a Punjabi whether it's religious or not. They don't even care if he's religious or not. They would just say, hey, he got a Punjabi, and they let it go. As long as it's wrapped up.
Oh, snap.
That's the problem, because
that's the other part I wanted. Yeah.
Most people are not questioning these Punjabis or Indian men and ask them, is this is part of your religious faith? Where do you go to practice your religion? They're not questioning them at all. And if we could get to the point where we are not, because also that turban has a negative connotation as well to blowing shit up.
So yeah.
So somehow they able to move past it, but we can't move past locks. This is the problem that most men are having. This is what.
That's because the
let me ask Sharon, because wait, hold on, Sharon. That's a bit off, because the men that wear Punjabis own their own businesses, bro. They on Harwin Road selling cloth in Houston right now. They're not in corporate spaces. The Indian men, such as I forget his name, Vivek, whatever, the CEO of Google, he has a clean cut. He's an Indian man with a clean cut.
Most of them do. They are in IT. I see them in the office building all the time with no.
All right, no, I'm not even going to negate that. I'm not in IT. But what I will say to your, the last thing I wanted to say.
They don't wear no deodorant. They smell like this.
This is the last thing I wanted to say, though. Hold on. This is the last thing I wanted to say on that, because the one thing that you talked about, the LGBT community, I think you talked about the Indians. The one thing these people have is economic power or political influence. They are going to acquiesce to what LGBT want to do every single time because they have political influence.
What you mean?
You see what I'm saying? They can sway an election.
They cannot sway election. They do.
They do.
They do not have enough people to vote.
They do. They do.
So do black people.
Have enough voting power to vote anybody.
They do. They do. Their movement does. Their movement does, bro. Do you know? Okay. Let's talk. Hold on. Let's talk about it for a second, Sharon. Let's talk about it. Do you know why companies? Hold on. Do you know why?
If they had the numbers, Trigger Mike. If they had the numbers, these politicians would not be trying to make sneakers, putting fucking hot sauce in their bag, and eating fried chicken in public.
Right.
I don't see them trying to say,
that's why. Hold on.
My new curry kung pao. They're not doing that because their voting block is not as big as you saying they are.
But their voting block has. Hold on. Their voting block has straight people in it, Sharon. But let me talk about what I said. Political influence. They. Damn, you made me lose my train of thought. But these people, the reason why they will acquiesce, every company will acquiesce, is because companies now get a score from an LGBT society that will hurt whether customers shop with them or not. So they have economic influence and they have political influence. I'm forgetting what it's called, but there's an index to how nice you are to gay people. And if your company gets a bad score on that index, your stock will go down. So that's what I mean by economic influence. They have that. They absolutely do. I promise you.
This is such a slippery slope. It goes down a rabbit hole that a lot of people, and not trying to be disrespectful to anyone, but they already know based on what you just said. Now watch this. They already know, and I mean the government people, they already know that we as a people, when we get our paycheck, that paycheck is gone to the other communities. Everybody else, they keep their money. They circulate about 7 to 20 times within their own community. Then it goes outside their community. So that's where that pool comes from. They already know we as a people, where our money gone, where our money is going. They already got us, unfortunately. That's how you have to understand the big picture. The reason everybody else could pool and have that clout is because they know for a fact when they get their paycheck, they keep it within their own community several times. Us, we go to the mall. We give it to them. We give it to them. We give it to them, and we give it to them.
Okay, I can't let you do that. I can't let you do that. Don't do it.
Let's be real. I'm using them all as an example. But let's be real. How many of us keep our money within our own community? We go down to the street, to the restaurant. We go to the.
I'm not gonna let you do that. That's absolutely
all right. Amazon. All right. PhD for Amazon. All right.
Okay. Well,
Shein.
The numbers.
Shein and Amazon. All right.
Amazon.
The numbers say
really.
it. Amazon, exactly. Amazon says it. The numbers are true. You can deny it with the emotion all you want, but
it's not emotion at all. What number? Where numbers at? Speaking of numbers, I want you to correct something.
We are getting caught up in the wrong conversation right now. We're getting caught up in the wrong conversation right now.
So you tell us where it's at.
We're getting caught up in the wrong conversation because Otis's point, Otis's point is that we don't keep the money within our own community is his ultimate point. So whether it be the mall, whether it be Amazon, whether it be Walmart, what have you, we do not shop black, even though we have all these black-owned businesses that are marketed black. And the biggest problem I find in that dynamic is that most of black-owned businesses are not need-based businesses.
Right.
They're not need-based. Your sister's selling lashes. She's selling wigs. She's selling hair care products, which is something that
okay, we do need hair care products.
We do need hair care products. But everybody's selling hair care products. We need, you know what I'm saying? We need more mechanics. This is what the Jewish community does, and I hate to bring them up, but this is what they do. They even have it ingrained in their religion that a father, by the time the boy reaches a certain age, the father must teach his son a trade The father must teach his son a trade. He must be a mechanic, a carpenter, something that is useful to the community. This is how they keep the dollar in the community. So if Larry is a mechanic and Joseph is a carpenter and Phil does masonry work and Kyle does plumbing, then we have everything that we need within the community. And we go to the community first instead of going to external sources for our services and our needs. That's the time that Black people need to be on.
See, here's the problem with that. Like, I think it sounds great. It does. It really do. However, that is just not a part of how we move as human beings, as Black folks.
Well, that's why I said that's how we should be.
It's never happened
that's how
that
we
way.
should be.
No, but it's not, because it's never been that way. Not what you cannot.
Yes,
go
it has, Sharon.
It used to
No,
be.
it has not.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
We've always been autonomous. That's how come
when we were in segregation, we depended on each other far more.
On each other.
That's why we have so many different skin colors. That's why we have so many different hairstyles. This is why we have so many different thought ideologies. Why we have different religions. We create all these individual things because we are our own human beings. We do not just acquiesce just because our brother next down the street does plumbing. We don't give a fuck about him plumbing, and we never.
It's not acquiescing.
We always did our own thing. That's why you have locks and I don't. That's why I have a full beard and Nice doesn't. Because if we was to go by the way how you explaining it, then we all need to be like, just like we gotta either have to agree on Trigger Mike or Taz. We either gonna have all locks or we all gonna have all short haircut, and we are never going to agree on one hairstyle. Because
that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying.
The problem is that community that you are talking about, they wear the same outfit. All of them, they all have the same outfit from birth to growing up. Every last one of them. The women can't even wear pants. They can't even wear pants. It's not allowed. I was working in a school when I was building up these people that you're talking about. I was building a school. They all look the same. Every last one of them.
It depends.
Every last one of them. And
if
so
we are
not willing to be that monolithic. We are not willing to do that at all.
But they aren't a monolith, right? Because you have the Hasidic ones who will dress up like that, or the Orthodox ones who will dress up in a certain way. But then you have a lot of those people. There's a large community where I'm from, and they went to school with us. They dressed like us. There was no difference, between them and us, except they went to a Saturday school to learn Hebrew. But they looked like us. So they're not a monolith within their own group. They have several different sects within that group. But I did want to correct the misconception that Asians are out here just employing themselves, because that's actually not the case, right? So as of 2017, this is what I was able to find quickly. It was 2.5 million Asian American owned businesses. Only 556,000 of them had paid employees. On average, they have about 8 paid employees. So that's almost 4.5 million jobs that are created by Asian businesses. However, in 2017, which is the same year that data was taken, there were over 22 million, almost 22.5 million Asians in this country. So they're only employing a very small percentage of their own people, right? And so they work for these white companies as well. And as a matter of fact, I watched a documentary recently where they were talking about, Asians, and they come here. They start with those mom and pop businesses, but their goal is to send their children to school to become doctors and, tech, execs and all that other stuff. So again, they work for the same companies that everybody else does. So I just wanted to kind of correct that, model minority myth, and that they're out here just employing themselves. And, Black people should do what the Asians do, because the Asians doing what we doing, which is working for the white man.
Well, that's why I prefaced it with the Jewish community, because the Jewish are the more independent communities.
I mean,
true.
I hear that, but
and that's what Black people need to get to. If Black people, this is the thing. I'm not saying that in appearance Black people need to be a monolith. I'm saying in value system, Black people need to be a monolith.
But
in the things that we value.
What I'm saying is, like, when you work in a culture, right, you'll see that somebody get hit by a bike, it's only day police coming, it's only day ambulance coming, and they all look the same. Like, it's like what PSG is. So when you go to the Hasidic part of the community, which is in Red Hook, Brooklyn, right, or closer to Marcy Project, they all look the same. You go over to Coney Island, Brooklyn, those Jews, they all look the same. When you go to the another part, and when you go to the Russian part of Brooklyn, Coney Island, a different part of Coney Island, all those Jews, they look the same. So yes, they got different factions of them, but in their own culture, within their own little city, they all dress and move and talk the same. It's kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? And so, but we are not willing to do that. Everybody that's with dreads is not willing to move to one part of the city. Say this is the dreadlock portion of Black people. This is the we all wear Nas fades portion of Black people. We're not willing to do that. We are all interested. Like, hey, what up, Rasta? And we just keep it moving.
I'm not gonna lie, it would be fucked up to go somewhere in Louisiana and every nigga got a Boosie fade on. It would fuck me up if every nigga got a Boosie fade if I went somewhere in Louisiana. That would fuck me up. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm from Louisiana. That would fuck me up.
That's funny.
So before we move on.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Shout out to the Superman. He says, Flora, African ass, talking about Mike like she didn't carry baskets on her head. Barefoot. God.
You know what?
Shout out to Superman. He says, most Indian men in corporate IT are clean cut. Shout out to you. And then one more time, the Superman, he says, if we're talking about actual brick and mortar businesses in the community, Black men own 53% compared to women at 39%. Physical buildings is what he specifically talking
What does that have to do with the conversation, though? If
That
we're
had
talking
nothing.
about Black people as a whole.
Sharon, someone did make a good point on your Facebook just now. It's hilarious. All you New York niggas have the same uniform. Y'all wear Timbs. Y'all all wear.
I do not wear Timberlands to the construction site. I am a bougie construction worker. I wear Red Wings. Okay.
No, in New York made the
Okay,
worst.
Mr. Foreman.
New York chose the worst boot to make popular. Like a Timberland boot is a horrible boot. It's not comfortable. It don't keep your foot warm. It don't got a steel toe to protect you on the construction site.
It don't.
That is really one of the worst boots ever.
They do look good though. I ain't gonna front. They do look good over some jeans. I do.
Yeah, for a week.
I give it
Man.
that, but yeah, most real construction workers do not wear Timbs.
But
they horrible.
this is what I'm saying in the discussion, and this is my overall point, right? Is that I believe that Black people as a whole need to go down in order, and we need to redevelop and reconstruct our code, because we had a code at one point that we all agreed to. It was unwritten rules in our community, what we would do, look out for each other, kids and whatnot. So we need to have a code, and if on the list, when we get to the hair item, we need to definitively decide if this is something that we're going to acquiesce on, or if this is something that this is a non-negotiable for our community. And I think that's what the Crown Act was about. I actually worked with the individual who helped institute it here in Kentucky. That's why it got so popular nationwide, because it popped off around the same time of Breonna Taylor. The man got with this group called the Young Prodigies. Charlemagne highlighted them on the Breakfast Club, and they instituted the Crown Act, and it got to Washington. I'm sad. I just got the news that it got voted down, but you know what I'm saying? I think it's a fight that's worth fighting for, because as PhD Diva mentioned, as Taz mentioned, I believe that the controlling of someone's hair comes from a place of fear. It comes from a place of fear. And the fear is that when there's nuance and when there's differences, it is what it is. There are Black people. I'm gonna say this about Black people. Black people are the apex predator when it comes to the human race. I believe that we're more fit, we're more capable, we're able to do things better than a lot of other people just because of how our genetic makeup is. And I think that the government, or whatever entity you want to attribute this to, their task is to temper strength.
Yeah.
is to temper strength. So anything that cannot be controlled has to be weakened. Understand what I'm saying? And that's why you want to start with the hair, because again, as I said earlier, the psychological implications of our appearance, what people think of you based on your appearance. This hair is rough, okay? This hair is rough. It's strong. I can't break it by pulling it apart. Caucasian hair is weak. It's brittle. It's fragile. I don't even, there's this comedian, right? And they say that white
what if they
people
have locks? If they had locks, when they could say the same thing, that it's
they
soft and
have
brittle
to
but
put.
together.
Do you know how much effort white people have to go through in order to get locks?
They never get locks. They just mat their hair together.
Yeah, they mat their hair. They put dog shit or whatever the fuck in their hair. It never looks right.
If y'all, we also need y'all to band together, just like Omni's locks, and hit the like button together. God damn it, shit! We gotta. It's a shame that I gotta beg y'all for likes and shares. Like, we over here having a productive build about how we could strengthen our image, and y'all don't want to hit the like button. That's wild, crazy to me. Let's get together. Can we really get together and say, hey, what other side of the coin? Because both sides of the coin was argued today. Just hit the like button that you appreciate productive builds. Like, can we at least get on that page? Because if we can't even get on the page on likes, we can't even get to 100 likes. How the hell are we going to get together on what kind of texture here that we want to present together as a whole? This is crazy. This is insane. Let's get together. Get the likes up. It's not that hard of a deal. It doesn't matter what side. It doesn't matter if you're playing for the other side or not. You've been here for over 20 minutes. Hit the like button. Even if you are a hater, you hate my fucking guts, and you hate the fact that we are still having productive builds and we are moving forward. Even then, hit the dislike button. It doesn't matter. And for all the people that are here rocking out with us and being productive, tip any one of your hosts that you are watching this show on. We're not even asking for much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Crowdfund this thing. Send dollar bills. Shout out to everybody that did support. We appreciate every last one of you. It is an awesome thing.
All 5 people watching me, please hit the like button. Thank you. All 5. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
For real. I take all them.
Every person.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come on. It's for real.
I salute every person. When I be having 3 people streams, I salute everybody in the chat, everybody, because you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what people really don't like. I hear all of this just to touch on what Sharon's talking about now. This is away from the main topic, but just to touch on it, I hear too many creators talking about, oh, this one got 15 people watching him. He talking to 15 people. Oh, he talking to 20 people. He talking to, look, that 20 could be 200 tomorrow. So never knock that 20.
Listen,
I will never knock that 20.
I have 0 people watching on my YouTube, although it's streaming to YouTube, but I do have a very good following on Facebook. So most of those Facebook comments are from my Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. Shout out to everybody on the Facebook rocking with us.
Salute all the people. But back to the discussion. I just think when I see certain stuff, it doesn't make sense. And you also have to look at hair we got to break down hair from a biological perspective too. What does hair give off? What does hair give off from a biological perspective? It's a source of pheromones. So there's also the implication that women are more attracted to dudes with long hair. Some women like clean cut dudes, but a lot of women that I've come to find out since I got locks, which is why I'm not going to cut them off, is a lot of women nowadays love dudes with long hair. They like, look, they want you to pull on their shit. They want to pull on my shit. I'm like, girl, you better calm that the fuck down.
Pause.
That's not that's not this type of party over here. But they love hair. A lot of women are attracted to long hair. You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
If you think about, matter of fact, think about all the bullshit books that women read about their fantasy guys. It's got this dude with a full chest. He's out here. He's reading poetry under the moonlight. He's a fisherman and a carpenter, and he's a swordsman, and he's got a long flowing hair. Like Jesus, You know what I'm saying? Like even Jesus Christ rocked a full length of hair. Like why are we trying to keep black men from doing
I
that?
have no idea, but I also want to shout out to
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
shout out to something to think about. L Knicks. Bro, Otis, that's how we show support. That's how we keep the goddamn dollar circle within our own community. Let's keep it circulating within our own goddamn sector. How about we try that first? Shout out to L Nixon. Appreciate that. Thank you. Otis appreciates it. Thank
Most
you.
definitely, I appreciate it. That's all I was saying. Thank you. I appreciate that for real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we got to keep building that. Like, we're not asking for nobody to break the bank. It's all good. We got 116 people. Y'all could just all send 99 cents. It's all good. It shows appreciation. It helps the algorithm hitting the like button so we can actually have these productive builds and we can build past our goddamn sectors. And so we can invite more people. We get even more engagement and we increase the intellectual positivity, the intellectual dopamines. Because we also have that as well. We cannot only support the fucking drama and punching each other in the face verbally. We also gotta, when we productive as well. It's the whole spectrum. We gotta promote it. Shout out to the Verbal Assassin. Thank you, baby.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
I really appreciate that, Verbal Assassin, because she is somebody that's very critical of me as well. She holds me down and she also lets me know when I'm fucking up. She holds me accountable on both sides of the fence. So I really appreciate Verbal Assassin. Wrong. Black hair is actually the most fragile hair. That's why it seems like it doesn't grow as long. It grows very long. It just breaks easier than others. We had to be very gentle with our hair. So what she's talking about is that because if we don't keep it moisturized and all those things, our hair is very easy to snap and break. It's very easy for that to happen. So it is a lot of protection that we have to do with our hair. A lot of the African cultures with the ladies that have the seriously long hair, they got to keep that thing so moisturized and protected at all times. That's how they get it to actually be long, because once they let it out, that air hits it, it dries it out, and it breaks. That's why our hair doesn't generally grow long without locks, because the locks help the conditioning of the hair. So that is another way of what she means by the
I normally grow my hair in the wintertime where I could just put a hat on. That way I'm not always combing and brushing it, because all of that breaks it off. So I kind of grow it in the season where I could just leave it alone.
Absolutely.
But this
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Shout out to something to think about. L Nix, he said, let's circulate it. Let's get the money circulating. Just like your blood. That is fucking awesome. Let's keep on creating it. Let's keep on building it. That is fucking great. We love that. That energy is going to be reciprocated. That is a beautiful thing. Thank you, L Nix. Appreciate you. That's an awesome thing.
Most definitely.
Man. I love them purple super chats. They look so sexy.
Yo, one thing, one of my homegirls, she mentioned it in the comments, but we didn't really touch on it. We didn't touch on when there was a time when we got punished like that in front of everybody. They would take us and cut our hair off in front of everybody as a punishment.
Absolutely.
It goes back to what Omni was talking about, how
Absolutely.
that was their way to try to mute that strength.
Absolutely. They did it to the Japanese too, like when they caught samurais back in the day. When they caught the
Cut that
samurais back in the
ponytail
day, because they cut
can't even go back
the
home.
ponytail off.
Yeah.
Hair has always been a sign of strength. That's what I'm saying. So to conform, that Taz sort of has a point. When you conform to a look in order to get a certain position, it kind of says to that company, okay, I own this person now. To a certain degree.
And also, we need to stop with the rhetoric, the remedial rhetoric that is a such thing as good hair. Ain't no such thing. It's good as long as it's coming out your goddamn head. That's good hair.
Nah,
like,
some people here be getting up and robbing people at night. Some people.
At least that's what it seemed like, right? Like the way how they be making the conversations be like, no, that shit is yours. It's awesome. You just gotta take care of it. You gotta have some cool to it. You gotta make sure you maintain it. You can't just allow it to be buck wild. It's just like the grass in the front of your yard. You gotta make sure you maintain that motherfucker. Keep the edges to yourself. Don't let your vines go. Because I ain't gonna lie, it upsets me when somebody just flip their hair and they slap me if I'm just on the back of the line. No, you know your hair long. Don't just flip your hair around like you don't know. You know.
It's crazy.
You know, it's like, so, you know, just keep control of your hair. That's all.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Thank you. It's me, Dr. G. I really appreciate you, Dr. G. Thank you so much with the 5 good show today. Sharon, nice work. Thank you. And it's not just me, it's all of us. It's also the comments, everybody that's in the chat, that's keeping the chat moving and keeping our viewpoints going back and forth. It's everybody, it's all of us. That's why I say we got to build this plane together as we fly. So we, you know, we knocked off some luggage and we still flying high. So, you know, it is what it is. What's up, Trigger Mike?
What up? I just wanted to say, when I was listening, do we also understand, because this is the part that's bothering me a little bit. Do we also understand that there are black men that like their hair short with waves and, you know, like Lil Fro? They're like, the reason, let me explain. The reason I don't want dreads, I never wanted them, is because I've seen old heads who kept them and their hairlines receded, right? So there are very logical reasons as to why men wouldn't want those hairstyles too, right? Like, not about an act of defiance or nothing like that, because that's the part that really gets me. Like, me watching it, like, I wanted braids because it was cool at one point, right? So I get that when you're young, but as an adult, I weighed the options like, hey, this shit look really cool, but these niggas' hairlines be going back with them goddamn dreads. So do we understand that there are logical reasons why black men, no other men, would decline to have those hairstyles? Because I just want to make sure I isolate space for those brothers too. Some of us like our Caesars, some of us like our fades. Love it. Would never want to wear any other hairstyle on earth. I love my hair the way it is. And I just want to make sure I make space for those brothers as well.
I don't think anybody was trying to erase the space for them brothers. In fact, this whole thing is about the right and the ability to have your hair however you choose to have it. So if that's short and wavy, cool for you. It doesn't, to me, project what type of person you are. You know what I mean? And vice versa on the other side. So
No
I don't
doubt.
think
No doubt.
them trying to erase that space. I think we was supporting that.
Yeah, the
Great
whole
point,
I
Beast.
thought the
No
whole,
doubt, no doubt.
the
All
whole
right,
topic
just making
was
sure.
about choice. At the end of the day, what the whole topic is about the choice. And if you don't have choice over your life, if you can't control something like what's on top of your head, you know what I'm saying, or your appearance, if you don't control that, then what control over your life do you have? That's what we're saying.
So I made a statement earlier in the chat. I made a statement earlier in the chat. I think that hair is something that people can get singled out for. That's why it's such a hot button issue. But I also said that the conversation is a bit disingenuous in the fact that we've all conformed in one way or another. We've worn a uniform to get paid. We even adhere to a dress code to get into the club. But it's usually when you can be singled out for your choice, i.e. your hair, that's when it starts to become a problem. So I do see, you know, what y'all are saying, but I think we are all naturally conformists. It's just a question of what's going to make us conform or not. And hair is usually a hot button issue.
So I guess maybe I disagree with your examples more than anything, because not everybody going to the same club, right?
And there's clubs that I won't go to.
Black people going to the same club. Stop lying, Sharon.
I don't go to the club at all. It's a
I
waste
mean,
of time.
I'm older now. Let me speak for myself. But there was a time when, you got to wear hard bottom shoes to get in. I'm not going. You got me. I'll go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
Hard bottom shoe. What the fuck kind of club was that?
Oh yeah, it was a big thing.
Club church.
It became
You got
a
it,
thing in New York because it was a way to eliminate the people who weren't going to do it. Like, you couldn't wear Timbs, you couldn't wear sneakers, like
no hats.
That's where everybody started trying to wear the diesels because it was like a sneaker shoe type of combo. No hats, no do-rag. They started getting crazy with the restrictions just to limit really hood dudes.
Exactly.
If we gonna be honest.
No, y'all all act better when y'all in your church clothes.
All right, you can't do too much slide across the floor.
That's not true.
I turn up.
That's not true.
And there it is. And there it is.
It's not true. Niggas wild out.
You see how the bias, you see how the prejudice always come out? It always come out.
But act better in church clothes. That's crazy.
But no, people do usually act better in a best outfits. People tend to act a little bit better. Because you feel better, you look better, and you move a little bit more happy. It just
you mistakenly are more trusting of people in church clothes. That's the problem. That's
no,
I
think
preacher.
I really
that's why the
believe
preacher
that
is able to do things with some of y'all wives. Let's keep it a buck.
Oh, that's a
whole tell a story.
Here we go.
Yo, Omni, you know what it is,
Omni, you know we got in trouble for playing in our church clothes when we was little. Stop it.
What it was for me would make me not look at that the same way as some others. I know right now there's a profession who wears suits every day and get paid to lie. They're called lawyers.
Absolutely.
Oh, but but maybe that's a.
No. So I'm just saying, I never looked at a suit and felt like, oh, I trust you more because you got a suit on. I never felt.
Or it's a part of the great game. They get paid to wear the suit so they can lie to the people who's supposed to listen. You see what I'm saying? Like
we call those people politicians. We call those people.
Yeah, I can trick you better. I can get close to you. You give me your ear if I look in this suit. You wouldn't give me your ear if I had a wife beater on. You tell me to get the fuck away from me. You see what I'm saying? So
So I think, but people do tend to act and walk a little bit different when they got when they fully suited and booted. They just do. You don't walk the same if you got Tim's, a hat on, and a hoodie. You walk a little different sometimes. It's just what it is. Our clothes can put on a certain character.
Yeah, I think we all gotta we all have something that we'll bend for, but it's usually because it's usually because it don't matter that much to us. And mine is hair. Like I don't give that much. I'm not giving up my 6-figure salary for no goddamn hair. I'm sorry. I can buy too much other shit that make me happy. You see what I'm saying? So I get what people are saying, but I think we all have something that'll make us conform, and we're being disingenuous if we don't believe that because we've already done it. We've already done it.
So that's a good point, I guess. With the suits, because he's saying if Kevin Samuels didn't wear his Papados uniform, he wouldn't have been as popular. Do we agree with that?
The psychology. It's the psychology.
I don't know.
Like Kevin Samuels couldn't come dressed like Angry Man. Let's do that one. Kevin Samuels dressed like Angry Man. You think he would be as popular?
Clearly.
God damn, why you got to tear down Angry Man to make your point?
I'm not tearing down Angry Man. I'm putting up another prominent YouTuber.
I know what you're saying. I know, but a part of his appeal was his. That nigga was a little too clean. I'm gonna just say that. But yes, a part of his professional appeal was the way he dressed, his attire. Absolutely.
His refinement.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, it wasn't
great word choice.
Right, it wasn't
great
just
word choice. PhD.
It was also the way how he was able to articulate himself as well, the way how he was tell stories. Because we got Angry Man, almost 7 million. We got Anton Dance. He's another one that he dresses down for the job, and people love.
That's
him.
crazy. That's crazy because they're all equally as articulate, but only one of them wears a suit. That's crazy. You're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right.
No, but that's why I'm saying that it doesn't really coexist because they numbers are great. Angry Man numbers are great. Anton numbers are great.
Yeah,
and they don't wear suits.
Kevin Samuels dressed that way because that was his profession before he started doing the advice speaking. Like he came from showing rich men how
to invite me to a good time tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, there's a reason that he show up here with these church sweaters and these mock necks and all of that. Sharon up here with the mock necks with the church chain on.
I remember one time I called Sharon with a suit on. I called him Creflo Bracy. He looked like he was about to sell me a prayer.
Kasim gonna pull up with the mock neck too. Kasim gonna come with the mock neck with his hand on his head.
Yeah, but he clean though. He clean. I can't take it from him. He clean though. He clean.
That's funny.
Oh man, that is great. That is awesome. But we are hitting the 4-hour mark. We did some overtime today. I appreciate everybody that was here. I think we had a great productive build today as well. We didn't get there with the likes. It's all good. We got some. I don't know what's going on with that. It is what it is.
Hit the like button. Hit the like button. It's not too late.
It is what it is. I appreciate everybody that hung out with us, that hit the like button, that hit the super chat, super sticker, hit the Cash App, PayPal, share button, because that counts. Every last little bit counts as we continue to build productive conversations. Thank you. We are the solution-based gang, and we here. That's why we fight off problems. So we got to get to it sometimes. Sometimes it get heated. We argue, we scream, we curse each other out, but it's all good at the end. Put those airplanes in the sky. Make sure y'all comment after the show is over, because that helps with the algorithm. Even if you're just saying peace out, we appreciate y'all. Thank you. Did I get all the super chats? Let me make sure I got them all.
Shout out to everybody that was tuned in from the Facebook side. Appreciate y'all.
Yes. And we got to keep on grinding and keep grinding, man. It's a beautiful thing. Later. We'll see y'all later.
Peace.
Maybe even later on today. You never